Part 130. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1292. Next, Su Wenhui arranged intensive interviews. He told Zhang Chen, Mr. Zhang, since you have come out of the mountain, don't hide it, just use this energy to shine, your limelight is only half. The brand value of Muishan and the intangible assets of your company are not earned in vain. You always have to earn back the money spent on your fashion show from the media. This is worse than advertising. Su Wenhui's words made Zhang Chen unable to refuse. Yes, you have even held a fashion show and it is not natural for you to accept media interviews. How many people and companies have spent money to invite so many media for interviews? Not necessarily willing. It's really no gain at all. Su Wenhui arranged for print and TV media inside and outside the province to conduct exclusive interviews with Zhang Chen and his company in turn. At first, the reporters gave in half because of Su Wenhui's face. After contacting Zhang Chen, they also became very interested. They found that Zhang Chen is really a rich mind. There are so many interesting things in him that can be mined. He is a first-class designer, and the standard of this fashion show is obvious to all. He is also an entrepreneur, with so many large and many companies under his control, a painter and a collector. His lakeside oil painting gallery is the best oil painting in China. The art museum with the largest collection and the richest works of art. Based on the valuation of the auction market in 2002, his collection is worth billions. What is even more surprising is that his collection was carried out when everyone was not optimistic about Chinese oil paintings. His collection was of a salvage nature. If he had not collected it carefully at the beginning, many painters' works would not be in the market now. I'm afraid they've all disappeared. His behavior was highly praised by the art circle, who believed that he had preserved half of the history of Chinese oil painting. Next, the reporters unearthed more interesting things. It turned out that he ranked first in professional courses in Zhejiang and the United States in the college entrance examination, but failed because he did not meet the scoreline in cultural courses. This can be used to review the selection criteria for art candidates. Also, it turned out that Miss Gong's stunning con costumes were also designed by him. Not only Miss Gong, but also a long list of female stars, it turned out that he designed their costumes. He is a design master who has always been hidden. Much more capable than the top 10 designers selected every year. He Hongmei, who was the first to win the Costume Design Award at the Kyoto Film Festival, turned out to be his apprentice. There is so much news to dig up about Zhang Chen, how could the media not dig in and dig deep? Suddenly, all domestic media or columns that had something to do with fashion were exclusive interviews with Zhang Chen and Ban Mutian. Zhang Chen's fashion show this time was a huge success, making Half-Acre Field Clothing a nationally renowned women's clothing brand and successfully entering major well-known department stores. This is a great success for many parties. Something of great benefit. Originally, if a local general agent wanted to enter a well-known local commercial building, he needed to establish various relationships, which was very difficult. Now, after successfully entering, not only the sales of the general agent have improved, but also the expansion of the brand has been greatly improved. Notability is also beneficial, and recruiting secondary agents will be even more beneficial for them. The cities and counties below saw half an acre of clothing in the most famous commercial building in the provincial capital, and they came to ask for a franchise. At the same time, well-known shopping malls were still an important symbol to measure the quality of a clothing brand at that time. There were also more than a dozen specialty stores of various brands on the same street, and they were also sold in well-known shopping malls, which really made them become chickens. Needless to say, the crane and the phoenix in Chinese culture are so recognized by consumers themselves. In addition to women who like to dress up, who doesn't have Rulai, World Fashion Garden and Bazaar magazines at their bedside. These magazines have long reports on this fashion show with pictures and texts. Those who are passionate about fashion women, put down the magazines and go to the specialty store in Banmutian. Those general agents called Zhang Chen, unable to hide their excitement, and told him that it is so easy to attract investment now. It is not that they come to negotiate terms with us, but that several companies in one place want to do it, and we will do the same in turn. We need to examine his investment, the location, and strength of his store. Our clothing has a higher discount than others, and the exchange rate is lower than others. Guess what? Haha, not only did those people not mind, they also said that this is what big brands are like. Ma Ya from Shenyang called Zhang Chen and said, "Brother Zhang, I'm really good now." The old agents, I called them whatever they wanted, and they just did what they did. If they weren't happy, I would refund the deposit if they weren't happy. Cancelled his joining, he was always panicking. Zhang Chen was happy as he held the phone. Although this fashion show cost Zhang Chen and the others more than 6 million yuan, Zhang Chen felt in his heart that it was worth it and that it was a must for a clothing brand. After many years of experience, he has made up his mind to make the annual fashion show a required event for their brand. He even thought about it. The location does not have to be in Hangzhou. He could go to the beach in Sanya, go to the Great Wall for a catwalk, or go to Chongqing to spread their fire to all parts of the country. Lin Shuwen even told him, "Brother, there is Taipei, don't forget Taipei." Yes, Zhang Chen thought about it. He would go to Taipei, Hong Kong, and Macau to do a catwalk in front of Chen Qiang's casino. Zhang Chen will start preparing for next year's fashion show after the Chinese New Year. With longer preparation time, he feels that he will be able to do a more complete job. Zhao Zhigang sorted out all the customers' orders and told Zhang Chen that it was definitely too late for production. "Boss, so many orders have been added at once. Orders from Su Qiaxin and his foreign trade company are also increasing. I need to add more people here immediately." Indeed, not counting new franchise stores, there are so many shopping malls in various places that need to distribute goods, so it is not a small quantity. Expanding production capacity is something that must be done. It's almost the end of the year, is it easy to recruit people now? Zhang Chen asked Zhao Zhigang. Zhao Zhigang said that it is still easy to recruit more than 100 people now. I want to do it in 2 steps. The first is to add 100 parking spaces to the original workshops and start recruiting workers immediately. The second step is to start recruiting workers in the new year. Finally, 2 new workshops will be opened. Zhang Chen said, "Yes, you can add more. It's not that we don't have room now, it's just a matter of adding more machines." Zhao Zhigang and Zhang Chen said that he planned to add 400 parking spaces to the 2 workshops after the new year. He had laid out the workshops and installed all the machines before the new year. When the workers went home for the new year, they would all have tasks with them. When I go back and go to work after the new year, I can bring my fellow villagers with me. Zhang Chen said, "Yes, Zhao Zhigang, things in the factory will be arranged according to your instructions." After the fashion show, Zhang Chen and the others' main task was to prepare samples for Target. Fortunately, for the fashion show and order fair, both Ji Yiling and Zhang Chen had prepared a lot of materials and had a lot of materials. Ideas and a series of products are still stuck in your mind. Now you can invite them out. In addition, He Hongmei is not planning to return to Beijing before the end of the year and will stay here to help, which has increased their design strength a lot. For Zhang Chen and others, there is another major event this year. That is, Chu Tianlin's printing factory will be relocated. Chu Tianlin's new factory is located in the Xiaosha Economic Development Zone, a 10-minute walk from the central kitchen of Liu Bang, the founder of the Han Dynasty, and a 10-minute drive from Zhang Chen's factory. The factory was designed by Zhang Chen and was the inspiration for Zhang Chen's design. It comes from Liu Ligan's Qiaxi Academy. In other factories in Xiaosha, when you enter the gate, you will see a large green lawn or garden. What Zhang Chen designed for Chu Tianlin is that when you enter the gate, you will see a large piece of water with a large lotus in the water. Zhang Chen and Chu Tianlin said that lotus, this kind of thing, is the most beautiful plant. In spring and summer, a large area of lush green is pleasing to the eye. In autumn and winter, the remaining lotuses in the pond are not ugly, but have a unique charm. In the middle of the pool, almost level with this large area of water, is a road more than 2 meters wide and more than 20 meters long. This road is very unique. It is not a cement road, asphalt, or stone road, but a road made of concrete. Made of stainless steel pipes and stainless steel grids. The entire structure is in the shape of a concave shape, with an open space below. The concave area is paved with a layer of rainflower stones. Even if it rains heavily, there will not be any accumulation of water on this road, and it will all leak into the pool below. Went there. People walking on the road are rustling. If a woman is wearing high heels, she needs to take off her high heels when she gets here, hold them in her hand, and then step on the rainflower stones. However, it doesn't matter. This road is clean enough. Even if you are wearing white socks, after walking over, the soles of your feet are still clean. At the end of this road is a square factory building made of glass and white walls. The factory building is 3 floors. From the appearance, it does not look like a factory building, but more like an art gallery. After Chu Tianlin's factory was completed, it immediately became a place where everyone came to visit and take photos. Especially the students in the university town took the time to come here. What they liked to do most was to take off their shoes and walk barefoot. I walked back and forth several times on the road to Yehuashi, even though it was winter. The trouble with so many people coming to visit is the security of their factory. Chu Tianlin has already explained that everyone can come in to visit. People are allowed in, but they dare not be careless and have to watch from both ends of the road. The most important thing is, to see if anyone would pick up the rainflower stones on the road and stuff them into their pockets. If there are too many people like this, if we don't care, this road will soon be left with only stainless steel shelves. Everyone feels that this factory is too strange and beautiful. Everyone agrees that this factory and Zhang Chen's factory are the 2 most beautiful factories in Xiaosha. Few people know that the designer of the 2 factories is the same person. The reporters who came to interview Zhang Chen heard that he also had architectural design works, so they also came here, took photos, and helped Chu Tianlin and his factory. Also publicized. But here, after all, it is a factory, not an art museum. Chu Tianlin and his printing factory have large trucks transporting paper and delivering products every day. They cannot walk on this road of rain and flowers. Zhang Chen is behind the factory, facing another road. There is a back door designed on the road. When you enter through the back door, you will find Chu Tianlin's paper warehouse and finished product warehouse. Every day, the back door will be busier than the front door. After Lao Tan was in charge of the construction, he said, "Well, the front door of this factory is for viewing, and the back door is for use." Chu Tianlin smiled and said, "I like it, and our customers also like this design." "How could you not like it?" Chu Tianlin's office faces the pool of lotus flowers in front of it. Looking through the floor-to-ceiling glass, you can see what Zhang Chen said is lush or unique. Thank you for reading the book every day, and for the reward of 2 fishes at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you Zhou Shui, Qing Chuan's Haifeng, Yun Menjao 1998, Zipanjiang 1, and Bulletin Dexian for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1293. When Chu Tianlin's factory moved, Zhang Chen, Lu Ligan and other good friends went to congratulate them. Many people came. In addition to Zhang Chen and others, there were also many customers of Chu Tianlin and others, and Lao Ni also came. The ribbon-cutting ceremony was held at 10 in the morning, and at noon, Chu Tianlin entertained everyone at the Tuxian Jiayuan Hotel. Chu Tianlin, like Han Emperor Liu Bang, is now also an agreement unit of Huihuan. The difference between them and Han Emperor Liu Bang is that they have many customers. Because the central kitchen of Han Emperor Liu Bang was only for their own internal cake shop and milk tea shop. There were no outside customers. Even if there were, they were basically Taiwanese who opened factories in other places. Friends of Han Emperor Liu Bang, come over, take a look at his here, and take a look at their central kitchen. Chu Tianlin specially arranged the table of their friends in the big box, and arranged the other customers in other boxes. Chu Tianlin, Chu Tianjian, and Xiaoan toasted in the boxes one by one. After the toasts, they came back and sat here. Chu Tianlin was happy on the one hand, and couldn't resist the enthusiasm of her customers on the other. She had already drank a lot of wine, and her face was flushed, but she still picked up the wine glass and wanted to toast everyone. Chu Tianlin said, "Do you still remember the meal we had at Tianxianglu last year? 1 year has passed and our new factory has been built. Today, we are inviting everyone to dinner again in Zhang Chen's hotel. I feel so sad, I am really happy. Although we have been very nervous this year, as I said last year, the best result is that we persevered. I'm very happy for myself for this, and I want to thank everyone for their support and help, especially Zhang Chen, who also helped me design such a beautiful factory. Now it's almost turned into a scenic spot, and Brother Tan, without your worries, my factory would not have been built so quickly. Come on, I thank you all for this cup, and I wish all of us that next year will be better than this year." Everyone stood up one after another and raised their glasses. After listening to Chu Tianlin's words, everyone suddenly realized that yes, the scene when Chu Tianlin invited everyone to dinner still seemed like yesterday. In the blink of an eye, a year had passed. This day was really don't pass by. Liu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, said that the main reason is because he is busy. When he is busy, he does not have enough time. He does not know how the day passes. The day is like a nap, a month is like a day, and a year is like a month. We are here, it has only been a month, if we do nothing all day long. That means living like a year, and a day like a year. Lu Ligan interrupted and said, Liu Bang, the great ancestor of the Han dynasty, said. Yes, that's what I mean. Look at this year, we have opened more than a dozen new stores across the country. Tianlin, your new factory has been opened. Awen has also changed from a mother to the principal of LinkedIn school. Zhang Brother Chen, not only do you have this hotel, but you also have such a big fashion show. You guys, Zhang, have also acquired a lot of land and started a lot of new projects. Who has enough time? What about you? Chu Tianlin asked Wei Venfang. In comparison, Wei Venfang, Wu Ziyawai and their courier business seemed to be far away from the rest of them. In addition, Wei Venfang did not like to talk about his own affairs outside, so everyone knew about them. Relatively few. Although Zhang Chen's clothing, including Han Emperor Liu Bang's central kitchen, and Chu Tianlin's printing factories, many goods were still distributed through Wei Venfang's company, I feel that everything about their company is relatively unfamiliar. Sister Tianlin, we are not bad either, Wei Venfang smiled. We are on the track now, racing every day. The emperor is right. There is really no time. We have forgotten the time. Whoever runs will look at his watch while running, Wu Ziyawai said. This place needs to be set, forced to raise, Lu Ligan said, and everyone laughed. Zhang Chen asked Wu Ziyawai, what do you mean by racing every day? Wu Ziyawai told him that there are many express delivery companies now, and there are several national companies. Everyone is competing for customers in every building. Except for the trucks running on the highway, they are owned by themselves, so there is no need to, apart from robbing, everything else requires money, and there may even be fights. We grab trains at train stations and planes at airports. Apart from passengers' luggage, a plane can only hold so much cargo. Why don't you grab it? After this, I felt that we all need to buy our own planes. After listening to Wu Zhehuai's words, everyone finally understood what he meant by racing on the runway every day. At the same time, they were also a little surprised by the current scale of Wei Wenfang's company. Although they had not actually bought an airplane yet, they wanted to buy an airplane. If you dare to have this idea, it shows that their aviation business is really big. Zhang Chen raised his cup and said to Wei Wenfang and Wu Zhehuai, "Okay, then I wish you can buy your own plane as soon as possible." Others also echoed. Lu Ligan said, "I wish you have a fleet. The first plane you buy is named after Wei Wenfang. Spray the word Wei on the plane. The second one is named after Wu Zhehuai. Spray the word Wu. Whoever it is named after, if you spray the word Shu, it will be the romance of the three kingdoms." Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, said. Everyone laughed, and Wang Minsheng said, "Then the food from our central kitchen can be shipped on your plane." "Yes, yes, Wu Kai," Lu Ligan shouted, "from now on, your son will be called Wu Shu, and the third plane can be named after your son." Zhang Chen said, "Why can't their son be called Wei, Wu, and Shu directly, including the three kingdoms?" Everyone laughed. After laughing, Tan Shuhen asked Wei Wenfang, "Why don't you have children yet?" Wei Wenfang shook her head and said with a bitter smile, "I don't dare. I am so busy now. How dare I have a baby? If I get pregnant, I won't be able to do anything else for half a year, right?" "Don't think like that, Wei Wenfang. You will be busy at any time, and you will never have free time. But no matter how busy you are, you still have to have a child. It is not good for a woman to have a child when she is too old. That's what I think. So at the beginning, when we were still starting a business in Shenzhen, I still gritted my teeth and gave birth to our child." When Chu Tianlin said this, everyone thought of her ex-husband. Chu Tianlin also thought of it. She quickly stopped talking and her eyes dimmed. Fortunately, at this time, Lao Ni walked in. As soon as he saw Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan, and shouted, "I knew you were here, Zhang Chen. The food in your hotel is good. It has the same old taste that I haven't had in years. I will come here more often in the future." Zhang Chen quickly said thank you. Lao Ni patted Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan on the shoulders, squeezed out an empty seat between them, and sat down. He also complained about Chu Tianlin, why he was not arranged here, and there was a table over there filled with irrelevant people. "This wine is not pleasant to drink." "Why is it irrelevant? I even arranged for you to be with the National Development and Reform Commission and the Department of Economic and Trade. There is no need for communication between you," Chu Tianlin said. Lao Ni smiled and said, "Okay, thank you for your kindness, but I won't leave here." Xiaoan quickly stood up and asked the waiter to add tableware for him. Lu Ligan understood that Chu Tianlin didn't know that Lao Ni had long since ignored the factory. His thoughts were either on Fifei, Menjiao, and Jiaoxiao, or on Chen Yakin's financial business department. Lu Ligan and Wu Zhehuai said that Lao Ni has a plane. If it doesn't work, you can ask Lao Ni to make some extra money and let his plane deliver express delivery to you. Wu Zhehuai said, "The amount of cargo his plane can carry is not enough for fuel." Lao Ni glanced sideways at Wu Kai, snorted, and thought to himself, "You think so, you have gas money, my plane is for you to deliver those bad express mails, do you think it is a tractor?" It was at this dinner that everyone agreed that they would go to Sanya for the Spring Festival this year and bring the elderly and children with them. Zhang Chen and his friends might not have rooms at the Half-Acre Field Resort Hotel, so what does it matter? Jinling Resort has booked it, as long as the New Year's Eve dinner can be eaten at Zhang Chen's hotel. Wei Wenfang said, "Sanya is really a place suitable for the elderly. After the 4 elderly people from our family went there last year, they missed it for more than half a year. If I tell them that they will go again this year, they will definitely be very happy." "You still said this, Our family almost fell out with us. Xiao Zhao smiled and booked them but couldn't talk about it. As a result, Lao Zhang told them about the big mood and everyone laughed. If we go again this year, they will definitely be very happy, Xiao Zhao said. I have a hotel there, so I should go there, Chu Tianlin said. I'll go too. If anyone wants to fly with me, just say hello to me then, Lao Ni said. Lu Ligan leaned close to his ear and asked quietly, who are you taking with you, Fi Fei, Menjao or Jiao Xiao? Sisi, Lao Ni said. Stewardess again, Lu Ligan asked. Lao Ni nodded. I'll go, won't you, Lao Ni? Lao Ni looked at Lu Ligan and smiled proudly. Isn't that Jiao Jiao pregnant? She has recruited someone to support her. Yu Humming just went to bed. Lao Ni laughed, and everyone else looked in their direction, wondering what the two grown men were whispering to each other. Having decided to go to Sanya for the spring festival, Zhang Chen found an opportunity to call Tan Shahan to his office and told her that you would take teacher Tan and MRS Tan to Sanya with you. Tan Shahan was startled and looked at Zhang Chen with wide eyes. Zhang Chen said with a smile, teacher Tan and Gangza can't always be king. They have to find ways to relax. It's impossible for you to live upstairs above me all the time and let the terraced houses by the Meisi River keep mosquitoes. Furthermore, I think this teacher Tan is different from the past. He may not be as fierce as you think. He knows that you work at the pole company. Has he said anything? If he objects, he will even object to you working here. Also, even if he still has a deep prejudice against the pole, it would be better for them to meet in Sanya than in Hangzhou. What's more, there are so many people together. Teacher Tan is a person who wants to save face, otherwise there would have been a quarrel in the first place. He's in the Wu opera troupe, why does he only dare to make trouble at home and not go to the troupe? There are so many people together, don't worry, teacher Tan won't be anything bad. Tan Shahan thought for a while, and she felt that what Zhang Chen said made sense. She said, okay, I will go to Yongcheng to pick them up then. By the way, about this, do you want to say hello to the pole first? I'll come and tell him later, there won't be any problems with the pole. Do you think he is still a little boy? Zhang Chen said, and both of them laughed. Thank you Lulu 6717p11, the fish-eating brother, and Zifeng for your monthly passes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1294. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao returned home and told Zhang Chen's parents that they would go to Sanya for the spring festival this year. When Lao Zhang heard about this, he was very happy. He asked, would he keep talking about it, but in the end he would be happy in vain? Zhang Chen said, I promise you, it won't happen this time. Okay, I will believe you again, Lao Zhang said, and immediately turned around and said to Zhang Chen's mother, quickly, find the clothes of that gangster for me. Rogue's clothes, Zhang Chen looked at his mother, confused. Mother Zhang smiled and said, it's just an island uniform, not a floral shirt. He just said it was a gangster's clothes, but he kept worrying about it. I think you just want to be an old gangster. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao laughed, and Zhang's mother continued to scold, there are still more than 20 days, what are you going to do now? Lao Zhang said, no, it has been stored for 2 years. Why don't you take it out to wash and dry it? Zhang Chen hurriedly said, it doesn't matter. At worst, I can just buy it when I get there. Old comrade, I have one thing that I need your help with. Ho ho, the sun is rising from the west today. You, the big boss, do you still need help from us working class people? Lao Zhang mocked, but Zhang Chen didn't take it seriously. He said, Okay, old comrade, don't be sarcastic. I am the big boss, and you are the big boss's father. I am a capitalist, and you are also an old capitalist. You cannot be a working class person. Have you seen any working class people driving cars? What I want to tell you now is serious business. Zhang's mother looked at Xiao Zhao, smiled and shook her head, meaning, let's go and let the father and son fight on their own. Xiao Zhao stood up and was about to walk away with Zhang's mother when Zhang Chen saw it. Told his mother, don't leave either, this matter has something to do with you too. Zhang's mother stopped and said, tell me quickly, what's going on? Zhang Chen told them, this time, there will be more people than last time, and there will be more elderly people. Chu Tianlin's parents will go, and Nepal's parents will go. Then go, Lao Lu, it doesn't matter where you place him. He just stares at the bit of horse urine in front of him, and he's not too troublesome, Lao Zhang said. That's right, Zhang Chen said, what I want to tell you is not Ganza's parents, but Tan Shahen's parents. Then Teacher Tan and MRS Tan are also going. You also know that when old Tan saw Zhangzi, it's because enemies are extremely jealous when they meet each other, so, old comrade, when the time comes, help me persuade Lao Tan. I can't control this. How can we, the working class, dare to control the affairs of their educated people? Upon hearing this, Lao Zhang waved his hand and shouted loudly. Zhang Chen quickly said, old comrade, you are also a cultural person now. You are not only a vegetable expert, but also a water conservancy expert and a fish farming expert. Next, you can go on CCTV to talk about field interplanting. Fart, I am an expert in fart. I learned all my skills from Xiao Zhao's father, Lao Zhang said. Xiao Zhao hurriedly said, Dad, I think you are an expert. My dad, you have been working for decades before you can do such a small job. You have only been working for so long, and you have surpassed all the old skills of these decades. What is he if he's not an expert? When Lao Zhang heard this, he chuckled, your father also praised me for being a good worker. He said that if I was placed in the production team in the early years, I would definitely get 10 work points. Yeah, so look, Lao Tan, I don't need you to help me persuade him, Zhang Chen said to Lao Zhang, and then turned to his mother, then MRS Tan, I'll leave it to you. Zhang Chen's mother sighed and said, oh, except for his greasy mouth, he is also a very good kid. I don't know why the old Tan family despises him. Why? I just think that my daughter is good at opera and singing, good looking, and a popular person. I don't look down on others. I feel that she must at least be from the family of a bureau chief or a county magistrate to be worthy of his daughter. Singing on the stage, scolding those who dislike the poor and love the rich, singing the same lyrics, but I am the one who dislikes the poor and loves the rich. Lao Zhang cursed angrily. He glanced at Xiao Zhao. If she were not here, he would probably tell Zhang Chen's mother, luckily your son didn't look for Tan Shahen at that time. Old comrade, Zhang Chen shouted quickly, you can't say this in front of Xiang Nan. No matter what, they are her grandparents. Besides, Lao Tan is not that snobbish. This Tan Shahen finally married, he's not the son of a bureau chief or county magistrate, Feng Logui's parents are both farmers. Lao Zhang snorted and cursed, do you think I'm stupid enough to be so out of tune in front of Nanan? Zhang Chen said goodbye quickly, it's okay if he doesn't, it's okay if he doesn't. Zhang's mother said, I dislike the poor and love the rich, but that has nothing to do with me now. The Pole is not rich now, but is still Zhenzhen's boss. I think this Pole and Zhenzhen are a good match. They are both older than the younger. Drag it for as long as you want. Zhenzhen has Nanan, and Zhangzi doesn't have a child yet. They don't think about Zhangzi, but they also have to think about their own daughter. That elderly mother is dangerous. Okay, leave it to me, MRS 10, and I'll persuade her. Zhang Chen quickly said thank you to his mother, and he said to Lao Zhang, Lao Tan, I don't expect him to have flowers in his eyes when he sees the pole. I just hope that so many people will come to our hotel to celebrate the new year and not cause any trouble. Anyway, this is the place to go, but they are all our guests, and it is not good for anyone to neglect them. Zhang Chen specifically pointed out that this trip to Sanya was different from the last time. This time he was having New Year's Eve dinner in his hotel. Whether it was the Pole, Mr. Liu and his wife, or Mr. and Mrs. Tan, they were all his guests. Sure enough, this trick worked. Lao Zhang said, "Okay, I will hold them back and prevent them from fighting. I can't control anything else." Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Also, when you old comrades are together, you have to put in a good word." Lao Zhang glared at him and said, "You don't have to worry about this. When I look at this Pole, he is not the same as my own son. I won't be happy with whoever annihilates him. Even if he dislikes you, I won't allow anyone to dislike him." Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Okay, I will feel relieved with your old comrade to protect me." As soon as Lu Ligan heard that Lao Tan and Mrs. Tan were also going to Sanya, he immediately panicked and asked quickly, "Zhang Chen, what does Tan Shahen mean?" "It's not Tan Shahen's intention, it's mine," Zhang Chen said. "Tan Shahen and I told Lao Tan and the others to go to Sanya together." "Then what do you mean?" Lu Ligan asked. "What I mean is very simple. It's time for you to end the current situation and make changes. And if you want to make changes, you can't get around Lao Tan and the others. Do you really think that Tan Shahen will still be with Lao Tan now? Are they with you despite their strenuous objections? Tan Shahen is also a mother herself. Only after this little girl becomes a mother will she understand and tolerate her parents' behavior more and change herself. When she is 20 years old, Tan Shahen may run away with you regardless of everything. When she is more than 30, after the age of 18, there is no such possibility, which is why Tan Shahen herself thought of taking Xiangnan back to Yongcheng." Zhang Chen glanced at Lu Ligan and continued to talk to him. "On the other hand, you have to know that if Lao Tan and the others don't object to you and Tan Shahen being together, then as parents, they will go from one extreme to the other. If Tan Shahen doesn't hurry up and marry you, they will urge her. It will be good for you to keep urging her and not let her go." Lu Ligan laughed while listening and thinking, and Zhang Chen defeated him. "Why, do you still tremble when you see old teacher Tan Tan now? How is it possible?" "Who am I, Lu Ligan, afraid of?" Lu Ligan shouted. "Come on, are you not even afraid of Tan Shahen?" Zhang Chen asked. Lu Ligan was stunned for a moment, then continued to laugh. "I'm not afraid, it's respect. Do you know respect? I fully respect her opinion. Tan Shahen alone? Why haven't I seen you respect Su Wenhui, Zhang Mushan, and Ying Ying so much?" That's. Lu Ligan said two that's, but he was speechless and couldn't continue. Lu Lizan kept rubbing his hands on the sofa. After he stopped, he said, "Zhang Chen, in this case, shouldn't old Lu and the others go? You are celebrating the New Year in Sanya, and you left the two of them alone in Hangzhou to have New Year's Eve dinner. Are you embarrassed? Is this what your son thinks?" Zhang Chen said, "Don't worry, I have asked Lao Zhang to take care of Lao Tan. I don't expect him to do anything. Besides, there are so many people here. Lao Tan is a face-saving person, and he has a lot of worries in his heart. Even if you are unhappy, you will not break up on the spot. You and Lao Tan have to go through the hurdles, and Lao Lu and Lao Tan also have to go through the hurdles. Only in this way will your family and everything be happy. What I mean is, just take advantage of this time to go to Sanya. You might as well take out all your cards and stud." "No, I'm worried." Old Lu and the others also went there, but nothing happened to Old Tan. Old Lu drank a few glasses of wine and didn't like Old Tan. He went crazy with alcohol and spent money in person. Lu Ligan said, "Don't worry, I have given the task of supervising Old Lu to Wei Venfang and Wu Ziyawai. Wei Venfang's father and Wu Ziawai's father are good drinkers. They can drink with old Lu. If something happens, old Lu wants to take action. He couldn't touch Wei Venfang's father. How could this sheet metal worker be better than delivering coal? In addition, don't forget Chu Tianlin's parents, a pair of gentle retired teachers. They have several textbook principles to calm the anger of all parties, Zhang Chen said. Lu Ligan didn't know whether to laugh or cry, and shouted, "Zhang Chen, why am I listening? This doesn't look like a humming New Year, but a warlord melee. Come on, call Meng Ping quickly. It's best to contact him. The baby's parents will also go together. We are all over the world, and the most beautiful thing is to sing Red Sunset together. Don't you want to have a stud? Then let's have a big one." "No need, Lao Ni is going too. Let a few old men see how old Ni is. He has ambitions for 1,000 miles. He is a martyr in his old age and has great ambitions," Zhang Chen said with a smile. Lu Ligan laughed loudly and cursed, "Then the world will be in chaos. Why don't we force a few old ladies into the Red Detachment of Women?" Thank you to the Humor Tribe, Book Friends 201710181457487727, and reading books every day for the rewards. Thank you Ching Chuan's Haifeng, Book Friends 1404091613352007, Yun Menjao 1998, Killing Millions of Eastern Japanese Soldiers, Book Friends 201710260336292668, Book Friends 201807121025329499, and Yuengzi for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1295. Tan Shahen drove Xiongnan to Yongcheng. Along the way, she saw that construction of the Hangzhou-Xinjing Expressway leading to Yongcheng had begun. It was said that after the road was completed, it would only take 1 hour to drive from Hangzhou to Yongcheng. Tan Shahen thought sadly, "By the time you finish building it, I'm afraid her parents will have already arrived in Hangzhou, and this road will become dispensable to her." Tan Shahen has decided that as long as Lao Tan and Lu Ligan can live in peace during this trip to Sanya, after returning, she is ready to let them move to Hangzhou and live in a row house by the Meisi River. Zhang Chen is right. He can't always live upstairs in the dynamic zone. When Xiang Nan grows up, he can't always live with Zhang Chen's parents. Lao Tan and Mrs. Tan should also let them fulfill their responsibilities as grandparents. "Nanan, mother wants to ask you, do you think it's okay for us to take our grandparents to Hangzhou?" Tan Shahen asked. Yes, Yang Nan nodded. "When they arrive in Hangzhou, would you like to live with them?" Tan Shahen continued to ask. "What about younger brother?" Xiang Nan asked. "Brother, if you want, you can live here. The house is big enough. You can have a room, my brother has a room, my grandparents have a room, my mother has a room, and there is also a guest room and a study room." Tan Shahen said, but she knew in her heart that it was impossible for Zhang Xiangbei to live here. Even if Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao were willing, Zhang Chen's parents would not agree, and there were also his grandparents. Tan Shahen knew the final outcome and was sure whether Xiongnan lives with Lao Tan and Mrs. Tan, Zhang Xiangbei will continue to stay in splendid home. Brothers and sisters, as they grow older, eventually part ways, let alone south or north. They are destined to go south and north. Crying and making a fuss are inevitable. Thinking that such a young child would begin to experience the pain of separation, Tan Shahen looked at Xiang Nan, feeling a little uncomfortable, and stretched out a hand to stroke her hair. It was already evening when they arrived in Yongcheng and drove into the Cultural System dormitory yard. As soon as the car stopped, Xiang Nan got out of the car. When Tan Shahen got off the car, Xiang Nan had already run into the corridor and disappeared. He heard the shouts of his grandparents. Along the way, Not only did Lao Tan and MRS Tan called out all the neighbors next door. Tan Shahen heard that someone kept shouting, "Nan Nan is back." By the time Tan Shahen went upstairs, greeting her all the way, Siang Nan was already holding her grandmother's hand and standing at the door of the room, waiting for her. Tan Shahen said with a smile, "I ran really fast. As soon as I got off the car, I was gone." MRS Tan smiled and said, "This little voice is really loud. I heard her scream while we were still on the first floor." Siang Nan leaned against her grandmother and smiled. MRS Tan received a call from Tan Shahen and knew that they were coming back today. When Tan Shahen and Siang Nan walked into the house, they found that they had already prepared a table of dishes and were waiting for their mother and daughter. Tan Shahen came in and saw Lao Tan sitting on the sofa. She knew they had come in, but she was reserved and stared at the TV in front of her without turning her head to look at them. It wasn't until Siang Nan called her grandpa and ran over that he seemed to know just now. Like, "Oh," in response. Tan Shahen wanted to call him, but was startled. She found that she didn't even know what to call him. She couldn't remember how long it had been since she called him Dad. In the past, when she was in the troupe, no matter what she said to people, she said, "It is Teacher Tan who is called me, not my father. In front of outsiders, I am also called Teacher Tan." This is a habit that has been developed since the student class. Now, when Tan Shahen calls him Teacher Tan, it seems that she can't say it out loud, and calling him Dad is really unfamiliar. Fortunately, Lao Tan's attention had long been on Siang Nan, asking questions. At this time, it seemed that Tan Shahen's presence or absence was no longer important. It was MRS Tan who came closer and whispered, somewhat flatteringly, "Tell Tan Shahen, hurry up, I've made a lot of things you like to eat." Tan Shahen quickly smiled and said, "Thank you, Mom." The four of them sat down to eat. After eating, Lao Tan and Siang Nan said, "Nan Nan, let's go with Grandpa." Tan Shahen wanted to ask where she was going, but finally didn't ask. She knew that if she asked, Lao Tan would definitely glare at her out of habit. It wasn't until two people, an old man and a young man, walked out of the door, and the door clicked behind them, that Tan Shahen asked her mother, where were they going? In the tea house in Zhongbien Park, a bunch of old guys from the U Opera troupe and Wu Opera troupe, as well as theater fans, play and sing there every day. Your dad, haha, must be taking Nanan to show off his treasure. MRS Tan laughed as she spoke, and Tan Shahen also laughed. That's good. Tan Shahen heard from Gihua that there was also such a group of old men and women by the Meisi River. However, they sang Wu Opera and Shaoxing Lotus Falls. Probably no one could sing Wu Opera. If Lao Tan went there, it would enrich their opera types. Tan Shahen and her mother cleared the dishes on the table and went into the kitchen. Tan Shahen wanted to help wash the dishes, but her mother pushed her out and asked her to sit in the living room. She also told her to pour the water herself, which seemed like she is a guest who comes to pay New Year's greetings. Tan Shahen went to the sofa and sat down, picked up the remote control of the TV, and clicked on all the channels. The period before the news broadcast can be said to be TV's garbage time. Every channel is not playing cartoons. Is a children's program. A few adults on the screen are trying hard to imitate the children and speak in a good tone. Tan Shahen felt there was nothing interesting to see, so she threw the remote control on the sofa and stood up. She walked into her room. Everything in it was familiar to her. She even bought it and decorated it herself. But for some reason, Tan Shahen felt that every time she came here, they seemed to change. It didn't feel more familiar, but more unfamiliar. Standing there, I felt a little embarrassed. Tan Shahen sighed. Yes, she felt that she was a guest who had returned to her own home. Tan Shahen walked out and poked her head into her parents' room. She had no desire to go in. She returned to the living room and sat down on the sofa. She picked up the remote control and pressed it again. She saw a channel playing after reading Neil's Travels on a Goose. I was quickly attracted by the plot and pictures. Mrs. Tan cleaned up the kitchen, came over, and sat down on the sofa. Tan Shahen turned down the volume of the TV to the minimum, and talked to her mother about going to Sanya to celebrate the new year. Tan Shahen said, that Zhongchen, in Sanya I bought a hotel, so I invited everyone to go there to celebrate the new year. It's too cold in Hangzhou, but now in Sanya, you can still wear short sleeves and swim in the sea. Is it so hot? Mrs. Tan said. Tan Shahen nodded and said, when I come back this time, I want to take you to Hangzhou. After staying in Hangzhou for 2 nights, we will go to Sanya together. Are we going to? Mrs. Tan asked in surprise. Tan Shahen said that's right. Zhongchen's hotel is right on the beach. We are going to have New Year's Eve dinner at the beach, so of course we have to take you with us. Okay, Mrs. Tan nodded. Zhongchen's parents are also going, Tan Shahen said. Okay, I really haven't seen Mrs. Zhang for several years, but I can see her this time, Mrs. Tan said happily. I also want to thank them for taking such good care of Xiongnan in the past few years. And Tan Shahen hesitated and said, old Lu and the others will also go. Which Lao Lu? Mrs. Tan asked. Even Ganza's parents, his parents, and him will also go to Sanya this time. Tan Shahen looked at her mother and said. Mrs. Tan's face turned cold. Tan Shahen felt a little panicked and quickly explained. This hotel is Zhongchen's hotel. As you know, Zhongchen and Zhang Ziyi are very good friends. Isn't it normal for him to invite them there? I can't tell Zhongchen that you are going. Gan Ziyi and Lao Lu they can't go, right? Mrs. Tan said calmly, it's better to wait until your father comes back. You can talk to him. I can't make the decision on this matter. Both of them were silent. On the TV, Nils was riding on his big white goose. They were mixed in the team of wild geese, flying in the blue sky. When Lao Tan came back with Xiangnan, Mrs. Tan seemed to deliberately push Xiangnan away and took her to the bathroom to take a shower, leaving Lao Tan and Tan Shahen in the living room. Lao Tan sat down and reached for the TV. Tan Shahen took the remote control away. Old Tan looked at Tan Shahen in surprise. Tan Shahen said, I have something to tell you. Tan Shahen changed her strategy this time. She went straight to the point and said to Lao Tan, Gangzi and I are together every day now, but there is no relationship between us. He is my boss and I am his general manager. When we are together, we don't even hold hands. Do you believe me when I say this? Lao Tan obviously didn't expect that Tan Shahen would speak so straightforwardly. He muttered, believe it or not, whatever you say is what you say. We can't control what you do now. Okay, then let me tell you, you used to have to take care of us every day. When we were not allowed to be together, we still wanted to be together. Now you can't take care of us. We didn't do anything. I don't need to lie to you about this. Tan Shahen looked at Lao Tan. Lao Tan was silent. Tan Shahen continued. Nanan and I are coming back this time to pick you up and go to Sanya to celebrate the Spring Festival together. Zhongchen bought a hotel in Sanya and invited us all to go there to celebrate the Spring Festival. We will go, and so will Ganzi and his parents. Do you dare to go? When Lao Tan heard this, he became a little annoyed and cursed, isn't it just going to Sanya to celebrate the new year? Why don't you dare? When I was 11 years old, we went to Beijing to perform. After the performance, the Prime Minister came to see I dare to sit on the lap of the Prime Minister and take a photo. Why should I be afraid of any of them? Okay, yes, you have courage. As expected of teacher Tan Shahen said with a smile, just don't be afraid. Then the matter is settled. I will send your ID numbers to Zhongchen later. Where is he? Need to book a ticket. Let me tell you the second thing. After the new year, I want to take you to live in Hangzhou. When Nanan grows up, she can't stay with Zhang Xiangbei's grandparents. She has her own grandparents. You should also follow. Tan Shahen, what do you mean by this? Are we unwilling to take Nanan with us? Lao Tan shouted. Tan Shahen quickly waved her hands and said, okay, Teacher Tan, don't get excited. We won't settle old scores. This matter has been settled. You are Nan's grandparents and my parents. I am the only one among you, daughter. I am the one who will finally die for you. I will not listen to your opinion on this matter. I have decided that you must follow me to Hangzhou. Thank you for the reward of 2 fishes at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night, even though I didn't know who asked. Thank you Xiao Wang and Lu for your monthly pass. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1296. After returning to Yangqing's home, there was no need to get up early the next day. Tan Shahen hugged Xiang Nan and took a late nap. Lao Tan walked to the door of their room and wanted to call Xiang Nan and follow him to the riverside to sing, but Mrs. Tan drove her away. She said, go and finally get home, can't you let them sleep in? Lao Tan had no choice but to walk alone to the riverside. He wanted to say hello to the old guys. In the afternoon, he would go to Hangzhou with his daughter and granddaughter, and then go to Sanya to celebrate the new year. Sanya, you know well, they still wear shorts and tank tops there, similar to what we wear in summer. If possible, Lao Tan would tell them that after the Chinese New Year, he would probably go to Hangzhou with his daughter and not come back. I was tired of staying in Yangcheng. When the old director went to Jinhua, he invited himself back from Zhejiang and Wu, saying that he wanted to revitalize the Wu opera in Yangcheng. But look at what I did in Yangcheng after I came back. I became a useless person, working in Yangcheng every day. I read newspapers and drank tea at the cultural center and saw retirement. What else is there to look forward to in this place? Normally, Lao Tan is a taciturn person and would not say these things to others, but now, when he knew that Tan Shahen was going to take them to Hangzhou, Lao Tan and Mrs. Tan continued to make noises in bed for a long time at night, and finally decided. Come down and follow Zhenzhen's arrangements. Zhenzhen is right, they only have this one daughter. No matter how strong you are, time will not let you go. In the end, you will have to follow your daughter and granddaughter, otherwise who will they follow? After making up his mind to leave Yangcheng, Lao Tan felt that he had some things to say and some complaints, but if he didn't say them, he would be spoiled. If you go to Hangcheng, you just talk to people, and no one will listen to you. Hangcheng people, how many people know where Yangcheng is, let alone these old millets in Wu opera? After Lao Tan left, Mrs. Tan sat down on the sofa alone. She would prick up her ears from time to listen to what was going on in Tan Shahen's room. She then stood up, took 2 steps, looked at their closed door, and looked around. Watch, I just sat down after walking back, then stood up quickly, walked to the dining table, and checked with my hands. The porridge was almost cold, and the dishes were almost cold. Thinking of this, he laughed again and cursed, 7 twists and threes, what are you doing for nothing? Just wait for them to get up when they get cold, and just warm them up. But staring at the flatbread and fried dough sticks that Lao Tan bought early in the morning in the plastic basket on the table, Mrs. Tan was worried again. This porridge can be hot, the vegetables can be hot, but how to heat the flatbread and fried dough sticks? Mrs. Tan stared at those fried dough sticks. When she bought them, they were still vigorous, but now they are a little wilted and drooping, which is really sad. Tan Shahen and Xiang Nan didn't get up until 9 o'clock. Mrs. Tan immediately went to heat up the vegetables and porridge and brought them to the table. Just as she was about to talk to Tan Shahen about the fried dough sticks, Tan Shahen had already taken one and tore it into two. Half was given to Xiang Nan, and then the two of them broke the fried dough sticks into small pieces with their hands and threw them into the porridge. He took the big cake and divided it into two. Half of it was given to Xiang Nan. The two of them dipped the big cake into the hot porridge and started eating. It's really manageable, Mrs. Tan thought to herself. After breakfast, it was already 9:30. Tan Shahen originally wanted to make a call first, but after thinking about it, she was too lazy to call. Although they had never contacted each other, Tan Shahen knew that Feng Logui must still be like an old hen, hatching eggs every day. In the office, Tan Shahen and Xiang Nan said, "Let's go." Xiang Nan nodded and Mrs. Tan asked, "Where are you going?" Tan Shahen did not shy away and told Mrs. Tan directly, "Take Nanan to see Logui. When we get back from Sanya, school will start soon. Nanan doesn't have time to go back to Yongcheng." Mrs. Tan wanted to say something, but when she saw Xiang Nan looking at her with big eyes, Mrs. Tan said, "Wait a minute." She turned around and walked into the kitchen, taking out a large can of soybean stewed pig's trotters jelly. There was a white layer of lard floating on the top, and the marinade below had turned into a golden translucent jelly. This was originally prepared to take it to Hangzhou. Mrs. Tan then walked into the storage room, took out 2 knives of freshly marinated bacon, put them into 2 vest bags, tied a knot at the mouth of the bag, and said to Tan Shahen and Xiang Nan, "Take this to Logui." Xiang Nan quickly said, "Thank you, Grandma." After the two of them left, Mrs. Tan didn't even have time to collect the dishes and chopsticks on the table, so she went to prepare the luggage and things she would take to Hangzhou and Sanya in the afternoon. Tan Shahen drove the car to its original location and stopped 30 or 40 meters past the intersection. She opened the trunk and took out cigarettes, wine, and the things given by Mrs. Tan. Tan Shahen asked, "Nanan, can you handle so many things?" "I can do it," Xiang Nan said. Tan Shahen put the bag of wine on Xiang Nan's shoulder, put the 2 knives of bacon in Xiang Nan's right hand, and put the bag of cigarettes and pig's feet jelly in her left hand. Waving to Tan Shahen, she could only say with her mouth, "Goodbye, Mom." Tan Shahen watched Xiang Nan walking toward the intersection. She felt that her daughter had really grown up and could carry so many things by herself. As soon as Xiang Nan reached the intersection, he heard a voice from behind shouting, "Nan Nan, Nan Nan." Xiang Nan turned around and saw Aunt Xiang riding on the car, flying from Xinlan Road across the road. When she got to Xiang Nan, she stopped the car, jumped out of the car, and looked towards Tan Shahen at the same time. "I saw a figure getting into the car." "Hurry up, Nanan, Auntie will help you get it." Xiang patted the handle of the bicycle and said. Xiangnan quickly said thank you, Aunt Xiang, and hung the 3 bags in his hands on Xiang's car handle. "There's more, put it here." Xiang patted the bicycle's bag rack, took down the 4 bottles of wine she was carrying, and clamped them onto the bicycle's bag rack. The two of them walked inside, and Xiang asked, "Nan Nan, did your mother send you here?" Xiangnan looked at her and hesitated to speak. Xiang laughed and said, "Okay, I won't ask. I will go to the practice room later. How about Auntie teaching you acting?" "Okay," Xiangnan nodded happily. Tan Shahen got into the car, her heart pounding. She also saw Xiang coming from Xinlan Road, and quickly got into the car. She originally parked the car here because she didn't want to see anyone she knew, but she didn't expect to see her anyway. Tan Shahen looked in the reversing mirror. She saw Xiang helping Xiangnan put everything on the bicycle. She had no intention of coming over, but walked inside with Xiangnan. Then Tan Shahen let out a long sigh. "Take a breath." She took out her makeup bag from the locker and started to put on makeup. She was in such a hurry when she left home that she didn't even have time to put on makeup. Or rather, she knew that she would have a long waiting time here. Leave your makeup here to put it on. There is no furniture in the house by the Meeshi River, and it is not very convenient to live above the dynamic zone. Tan Shahen took her parents directly to the international building, planning to let them stay here for 2 days before going to Sanya. After returning from Sanya, the furniture mall is also open, so I will go buy furniture at that time. The four of them got off the car at the entrance of the international building. Tan Shahen pointed to the center of Hangzhou not far away and told her parents that the tallest building in Hangzhou belongs to our company, and the dynamic zone beyond is Zhongchen's sporting goods market. By the way, if you have nothing to do during the day, go to Yan'an Road and turn a little further, where is Zhongchen's Ban Mutian clothing store. When I first came to Hangzhou, I worked as a store manager here, Tan Shahen added. Mrs. Tan listened and laughed. She said, Zhongchen, I didn't expect to be so powerful. He is a market, a factory, a clothing store and a hotel. She praised Zhongchen, but not Lu Ligan, saying that he built such a tall building. Old Tan snorted, and Tan Shahen knew that he was late when he snorted. He was not snorting to Zhongchen, but to his own previous sentence. The tallest building in Hangzhou belongs to our company. He was snorting. Where's Lu Lipol? When Tan Shahen listened, she just felt funny, and still funny. Teacher Tan and Mrs. Tan have arrived in Hangzhou. Of course Zhongchen needs to come out to entertain them. The situation is unknown and the future is unpredictable. Today, he won't invite anyone else, not even Xiang Nan Xiangbei. It's just him and Xiao Zhao. There are Tan Shahen and Lu Ligan, plus Lao Tan and the other two. When the situation becomes clear tomorrow, Zhongchen's parents will treat Lao Tan and his wife to dinner at their home. After receiving a call from Tan Shahen from the international building, Zhongchen made an appointment with her. The location was of course the Tuxianjiayuan Hotel. The time was set at 6 o'clock and everyone went there separately. After hanging up the phone, Zhongchen told Lu Ligan and the others about the matter. As soon as Lu Ligan heard that he was going to have dinner with Lao Tan that night, he immediately told Zhongchen that I couldn't go. I had already made an appointment tonight. Have dinner with Director Chu. Stop doing this, Zhongchen scolded, you just want to be a coward. Xiao Zhao and He Hongmei laughed, and He Hongmei said, Master, I strongly request to participate in such a dinner. Zhongchen nodded and said, okay, I count you. He looked at Lu Ligan again, and Lu Ligan muttered, no, Zhongchen, I really made an appointment. Zhongchen stretched out his hand and said to Lu Ligan, bring it here. What? Lu Ligan asked. Your mobile phone, let me call and ask Director Chu. Zhongchen said, even if we made an appointment, I also told him that you would meet your future father-in-law and mother-in-law tonight. It depends on what Director Chu says. For those who have a mother-in-law, I don't believe that Director Chu doesn't know what's important. Xiao Zhao and He Hongmei fell on the sofa laughing. Lu Ligan said that he had an appointment in the evening. It was just an excuse. How dare he give Zhongchen his cell phone? Zhongchen looked at Lu Ligan and said, Pol, you decide whether to go or not. Anyway, we will definitely go. At 6 o'clock, Tan Shahen will definitely arrive with Teacher Tan and Mrs. Tan. At that time, if you weren't there, I can guarantee that Tan Shahen would definitely fall out with you. It's okay, hero, the majestic Ludaxia, I'm here. If things go bad, I'll call you dear and pretend to be your girlfriend. He Hongmei comforted, then Teacher Tan, no matter how terrible and unreasonable you are, you wouldn't get angry at someone else's boyfriend, right? Lu Ligan glared at He Hongmei. Zhongchen and Xiao Zhao laughed. Zhongchen said, did you see that? For you, He Hongmei is willing to destroy her reputation for the rest of her life. After hearing this, Lu Ligan stared at He Hongmei and then at Zhongchen. Thank you for reading the book every day and ranking third from top to bottom for the reward. Thank you to 1997 Orange, Aetsu, Huhu, Xiao Wang, and book friends 201807121025329499 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Happy Monday everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1297. Zhang Chen and the four of them arrived at the Tuxianjiayuan Hotel and walked to the door. The welcoming guest said to Zhang Chen, "Mr. Zhang, I will take you to the private room." Just now, Mr. Su accompanied the people from the management committee in. She asked me to tell you that she has already arranged the menu. She will come over later to toast. Zhang Chen said yes. The five people entered the elevator. Zhang Chen looked at Lu Ligan, his face turned pale. He Hongmei teased him, "Brother, do you feel like you are on the execution ground now?" Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao laughed. Yingben didn't know what they were laughing about, but they laughed too. The group arrived at the box, but Tan Shehen and the others had not arrived yet. The box was empty. Lu Ligan breathed a sigh of relief and became more lively. He said to He Hongmei, "Sichuan girl, do you already feel like you're enjoying yourself in Hangzhou?" "Yes, I am happy to miss Beijing. I won't go back to Beijing." "Can you support me?" He Hongmei said. Yes, you can go to my property company to mow the lawn. Depending on your level, you can mow the lawn into a painting, Lu Ligan said. "No, I'm in Hangzhou, so I don't actually have to work." He Hongmei shook her head and said, "I just need to follow you every day and ask you to clear your accounts. I estimate that I can eat for several years. If you dare to cheat, I will let Wen Wen and Qian out and bite you." Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao laughed, and Lu Ligan also laughed. He said, "Zhang Chen, when it comes to being so eloquent, no one is really worth four." Before Lu Ligan finished speaking, he heard the welcoming voice outside saying, "Mr. Tan, please come this way." Tan Shehen and the others must have arrived. The expression on Lu Ligan's face froze in an instant. He Hongmei teased, "Go on, keep talking." Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao stood up, followed by He Hongmei and Lu Ligan. Tan Shehen walked in with Lao Tan and Mrs. Tan. Zhang Chen hurriedly greeted him and said, "Hello, Teacher Tan." "Hello, Mrs. Tan." Xiao Zhao and He Hongmei also quickly called out, "Hello Uncle and Aunt." Lu Ligan stood behind them, his mouth moved, but he didn't shout. Tan Shehen glanced at him, and Lu Ligan quickly added, "Hello, Uncle and Aunt." Lao Tan didn't seem to hear Lu Ligan's words. He held Zhang Chen's hand with one hand, patted Zhang Chen's arm with the other, and shouted enthusiastically, "Hello, Zhang Chen, I've known for a long time that you are the most promising person in the entire Wu opera troupe in the future, haha, look at it now, it's true." Mrs. Tan smiled and said, that's right. Tan Shehen introduced to her parents that this is Xiao Zhao, Zhang Chen's wife, and this is He Hongmei, Zhang Chen's apprentice and our good friend. Lao Tan and Mrs. Tan smiled happily at them. Mrs. Tan took Xiao Zhao's hand, patted the back of her hand, and said to her, "I have heard about you a long time ago. They say you are beautiful and majestic. Then Nanan also told me that you have treated her like your own mother over the years. I should have come to thank you a long time ago. It's a pity that I only encountered it today." Xiao Zhao quickly said, "And, this is what it should be. Sister Shehen treats us Xiangbei like her own mother. Those two children are also destined to be together. They are better together than their biological siblings." Lao Tan, Mrs. Tan and Zhang Chen Xiao Zhao were talking without even looking at Lu Ligan, as if he did not exist at all, but in their words, Lu Ligan clearly existed, such as Lao Tan's. He said, "I have long seen that in the entire Wu opera troupe, you are the most promising person in the future." Half of these words were directed at Lu Ligan. Lu Ligan stood there, looking a little embarrassed. He Hongmei kept looking at him and giggling. Tan Shahen looked at him and also pursed her lips and smiled. Sit down quickly, Teacher Tan, MRS Tan, let's sit down and talk." Zhang Chen quickly let them in, and old Tan said as he walked. "Zhang Chen, I just heard from Zhen Zhen that you designed this hotel yourself." "It's just a joke, it's a fool's errand. It's just a hotel like this for the convenience of eating," Zhang Chen said. "You are being humble, Zhang Chen. In such a high-end place, if Zhen Zhen hadn't led us, we wouldn't have dared to walk in." When we reached the door, MRS Tan said. "Where, how is it possible? Teacher Tan has gone to the Great Hall of the People and performed for the Prime Minister and foreign guests. Is there any place in China that Teacher Tan dare not go into?" Zhang Chen said. Old Tan chuckled, "Not to mention the brave man I once was. I stay in Yongcheng every day. Now I am just a mountain villager." Old Tan sat down next to Zhang Chen. On his right was MRS Tan. On MRS Tan's right was Xiao Zhao. Next to Xiao Zhao was Tan Shahen. On Zhang Chen's left was He Hongmei. Lu Lapol's seat was exactly right opposite Lao Tan and MRS Tan. Next, MRS Tan kept talking to Xiao Zhao, and Lao Tan kept talking to Zhang Chen. The two of them didn't even look at Lu Ligan opposite, and Tan Shahen didn't want to spend too much time with Lu Ligan. No matter what, she and Lu Lizan could only sit there. He Hongmei looked to the left and then to the right with interest, and couldn't help but laugh. Tan Shahen knew what she was laughing at, so she could only smile bitterly at He Hongmei. The most embarrassing thing was Lu Ligan. He was sitting there with no one paying attention to him. Although he tried hard to prick up his ears and listen to what they were saying, he still had to pretend that he didn't care. It was really uncomfortable. He simply picked up the phone and dialed Su Wenhui, hoping to relieve his embarrassment by talking to him about work. Su Wenhui didn't know where he was. It was very noisy around him. He kept shouting, "Mr. Lu, please speak louder. It's very noisy here and you can't hear me." Lu Ligan raised his voice, and Lao Tan looked at him at this time, but rolled his eyes dissatisfied. This was because his voice was too loud and hindered their chat. When Lu Ligan saw it, he quickly hung up the phone. As soon as he hung up, Su Wenhui's call was cut off before Su Wenhui could hear what Lu Ligan said clearly. He called back immediately, and Lu Ligan took a look. "I was so irritated that I simply turned off the phone." Zhang Chen sat there, secretly sizing up Lu Ligan, feeling extremely awkward. He was searching for something to say, so that there was no silence in his chat with Lao Tan. Zhang Chen was scolding Lu Ligan in his heart. This coward is already dozens of years old. He didn't expect him to be so cowardly after seeing Lao Tan. Fortunately, the food had started to be served at this time, so there was another topic. Zhang Chen quickly greeted Lao Tan and MRS Tan to eat. He introduced the dishes one by one, just like an orderer. He introduced one, Lao Tan and MRS Tan. The wife would solemnly pick up a chopstick, taste it, and then praise how delicious it is. Even Tan Shahen could tell that Zhang Chen was working too hard. She wanted to take over the topic and let Zhang Chen rest for a while, but Lao Tan and MRS Tan, even her, ignored them since they entered the box. They seemed to just ignore them. "I am willing to listen to Zhang Chen." Tan Shahen was defeated in frustration and glanced at Lu Ligan with dissatisfaction. When she looked at him, Lu Ligan became even more at a loss. The door of the box opened, and Hui Huan walked in from the door, saying as she walked, "Mr. Zhang, I'm sorry. The guests from the management committee came earlier and they wanted me to show them around the hotel first. I didn't wait for you at the door." Zhang Chen smiled and said, It doesn't matter, there are no outsiders today, we are all our own people here. Hui Huan came closer and saw Lao Tan. She was stunned for a moment and asked, "Are you Teacher Tan?" Not only Lao Tan, but everyone else in the box was also stunned. Zhang Chen said, "He is Mr. Tan's father." "Why, Hui Huan, have you met Mr. Tan before?" "Oh, I should have thought of it earlier," Hui Huan shouted. "When I was a child, I watched many of Teacher Tan's performances, etc., etc." Hui Huan said and walked out. The people in the box were all confused and didn't know what she was doing. After a while, Hui Huan came back, followed by her father. As soon as Master Su entered the door, he shouted, "It's Teacher Tan, haha, it's really Teacher Tan." Lao Tan saw Hui Huan's father and shouted, "Master Su, why are you here?" Zhang Chen quickly told Lao Tan, "This is the head chef of our hotel and Mr. Su's father." Lao Tan said the same thing as Hui Huan, "Oh, I should have thought of it earlier. When I eat the food here, I always feel like I have seen it before." It turns out that it was made by Master Su. Zhang Chen asked Master Su to sit down. After listening to Master Su and Lao Tan, they understood the whole story. It turns out that when Lao Tan was in the Zhejiangwu opera troupe in Jinhua, although they were a provincial troupe, they still had a heavy task of going to the countryside to perform every year. They were either joining a working group propaganda team, a literary team, or simply delivering plays. Township, every year they visit several counties in the Jinhua area. When the Zhejiangwu opera troupe comes to the lower townships, especially the villages, it is a big event for the village, just like a festival, so they will come to invite Master Su to cook for the troupe and everyone in the village. Hui Huan has been helping her father since she was a child, so she also watched a lot of plays and got to know Lao Tan. Master Su and Zhang Chen said, "You don't know that Teacher Tan was very prestigious at that time. He had a nickname, Xiao Gai Jing Tian. The Wu song he played was so spirited that we would never see him again later. As long as he got there, as soon as he appeared on the stage, there was a burst of cheers below, and everyone said that the tiger was not killed by Wu song, but was scared to death by Wu song, that style." Everyone laughed. Lao Tan quickly waved his hand and said, "Don't take it seriously, don't take it. It's too much, Master Su. Why don't you dare to take it? You were transferred later, and Zhou was scolded to death. They said that they couldn't even keep the pillars of the stage. You still acted like a shit show. When you came back later, the scene was much more deserted. I remember you performed it once. Wu Song fights the tiger, but Wu Song was kicked off the stage by the people below, and everyone scolded him, 'Wu Song, you are Luoshu.' Later, no one dared to act in this play." Master Su and Lao Tan said, "Is there such a thing? Then I really don't know," Lao Tan said. Next, the kitchen called Hui Huan to find the head chef. Master Su quickly said to Lao Tan, "Teacher Tan, please eat slowly. I'll go down first. The kitchen is very busy now." Lao Tan quickly said, go quickly, I don't dare to delay you, we will have another chance in the future." Hui Huan and her father both went out. With such an episode, the atmosphere in the box became lively. Zhang Chen said, "We knew Teacher Tan was good at acting, but we didn't expect it to be so deeply rooted in people's hearts. More than 10 years have passed, and people who have seen your play still remember you. Master Su has a deep memory for us," Lao Tan said. "At that time, when we went to perform in any village, as soon as we heard that he was cooking, the whole group cheered, and everyone felt that it would be better to do it again today. No matter how hard it is, it will be worth it. From now on, when a village wants to invite us, they will tell us that the chef this time is Lao Su. No, he was still Xiao Su at that time." Zhang Chen smiled and said, "After all, we are a provincial group. We will be entertained when we go out. Who cares about us when we go out? It's different, Lao Tan said. When we went out to perform at that time, we were completely serving the people. The same was true for the actors. For every performance, the troupe would give us a 20-cent late-night snack subsidy. Those who had no other money would not be able to do it. When it comes to you, what kind of marketization has there been? Before going to any place, you have to discuss how much the performance fee will be. If you already get other people's performance fees, who cares about your food? Zhen Zhen should know that when they were still in the student class, the Yongchengwu opera troupe went to perform in the countryside to fully serve the people. Zhang Chen nodded and understood. At that time, the troupe really ate the national meal, and of course there was no need for the troupe to go out to find food on their own. Lu Ligan saw that Lao Tan was very proud and happy now. He encouraged himself, stood up, walked over with a wine glass, and said to Lao Tan, "Uncle, I'd like to toast you and welcome you to Hangzhou." Old Tan sat there, the smile on his face slowly faded, and he did not reach out to take the cup. Zhang Chen quickly stood up, raised the cup, and said to Old Tan, "Together, let's respect Teacher Tan together." Only then did Lao Tan pick up the cup and clink it with the two of them. After drinking this glass of wine, in Lao Tan's eyes, it would be impossible to think about it without Lu Ligan. "Thank you for reading the book every day, and for the reward of 2 fishes at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you for your monthly votes from Evergreen Yan Dottie, Zifeng, Riri Shu Shu, Super Big Smoke Ash, Hoo Hoo, Wooden Man, Joe Shui, and Fish Eating Brother. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening, everyone." The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1298. This glass of wine made the originally weird and hard atmosphere in the entire box become relaxed and normal. It was like a bell ringing after class. As soon as the bell rang, all the bodies sitting upright suddenly became loose. It also made He Hungmei feel bored. It seemed that the show she wanted to watch was over. After that, the scope of the conversation between Lao Tan and Mrs. Tan began to expand. First, they went to He Hungmei and asked her where her home was, where she worked now, how many people were in her family, etc. These were innocuous words, and then they also forgave Tan Shahen and began to accept the conversation. Her words. The two of them still didn't talk to Lu Ligan, but when Lu Ligan talked to other people, they would listen carefully and occasionally look at him. In the meantime, Lu Ligan stood up twice more to serve Lao Tan's wine. Lao Tan did not say a word, nor did he clink glasses with Lu Ligan, but he picked up the glass and drank the wine. Lu Ligan quickly took a sip of his own wine. After drinking, he would not object if Lao Tan was served again. "Since you drank the first cup and didn't drink later, it would be too pretentious," or so Lao Tan thought. Lu Ligan poured the wine for Lao Tan, and then went to add corn juice to Mrs. Tan. Mrs. Tan quickly said, "That's enough, that's enough. Her stomach is full. This is enough to talk the talk." Tan Shahen watched and secretly breathed a sigh of relief. When Zhang Chen and the others finished their meal and the number of guests in the hotel began to dwindle, Master Su came up again after explaining things in the kitchen for a while. As soon as he came in, Lao Tan's face blossomed, and the atmosphere in the private room it's even more lively. Zhang Chen asked Master Su to have a drink with Teacher Tan. Although it was working time now, and according to the hotel's regulations, drinking was not allowed during working hours, but since it was ordered by the boss, drinking, that is, working, was not a violation of the rules and regulations. Master Su was very happily agreed. Everyone stood up and moved their seats. Xiao Zhao inserted Master Su's seat between Lao Tan and Mrs. Tan. Lu Ligan hurriedly came over to pour the wine, which made Master Su stand up in a hurry as soon as he sat down and said no dare to be. While drinking and chatting, naturally we started talking about how Lao Tan and the others came to Hangzhou and their upcoming trip to Sanya. Originally, Zhang Chen called Huihu on this time and asked her to take her parents to Sanya for the spring festival. He told Huihuan that Cao Minfang and Fatty Fu missed you. When I called them, they both tell me, I must take you with me. The hotel is on holiday anyway, and your family is here too. You can take your parents to Sanya to play together. Huihuan was very happy when she heard this, and told Zhang Chen that she had originally planned to take her parents to the beach in Sanya during the Spring Festival holiday, and also to see Cao Minfang and her master Fu Fatty. Now I can impress you. Of oil, the better. But later, their contracting company found Huihuan and asked her, can you cook New Year's Eve dinner? Huihuan smiled and said, it's the new year, everyone has gone home, I'm just cooking New Year's Eve dinner here, does anyone want to eat? The other party said to her, there must be, our unit will arrange for people to come and eat. The Spring Festival holiday is indeed a holiday, but in this development zone, every factory will have left behind workers, and they also have to celebrate the Spring Festival and have New Year's Eve dinner. These people have sacrificed themselves to go home and stay in the factory. No factory would be so stingy and would think it was appropriate to have something good for New Year's Eve dinner. Huihuan thought it made sense and agreed to give it a try. She told the other party that if there are many people who need it, we will do it. If it is just your family, it is not cost-effective for me to do it. Huihuan thought to herself, it's cost-effective to try anyway. If no one eats it, everyone will take a holiday. If someone eats it, some people will work overtime. Maybe it will be a business opportunity. She posted a notice for New Year's Eve dinner reservations at the checkout counter. Unexpectedly, it was as popular as the person said. Not only was the New Year's Eve dinner booked for January 31st, but also New Year's Eve. Even the 28th day of the previous day and the first day to the 10th day of the next day are all booked. Those who made reservations for New Year's Eve dinner include Taiwanese companies and Korean companies. Although in South Korea, the Spring Festival is the second largest festival after the Mid-Autumn Festival, it is also a very important festival. There are also companies in Japan and the United States. Although they don't celebrate the Spring Festival, companies in any country have a holiday during the Spring Festival. All the workers in the factory are gone, but there are always some left behind workers. At this time, the left behind workers there's nothing else to do, so it's just a day to eat and drink. The most important thing is that at this time, it is really difficult to find food in other places. To ensure their normal eating and drinking, someone must stay in the factory canteen, which is also troublesome. Now that Tuxianjiayuan is open, then it just so happens that everyone comes here to eat. The canteen can be closed completely and the canteen staff can go home to save them from being sad and complaining. Including in university towns, there are always some teachers who don't go home. They continue to eat the New Year's Eve dinner in the school cafeteria. They feel that it is boring. They might as well come here and continue singing after eating. This time, it was beyond Huihuan's expectation, and she had to give up her trip to Sanya and stay to prepare for the Spring Festival. Zhao Zhigang knew that Tuxianjiayuan was preparing New Year's Eve dinner this year, so he also called Huihuan and said that he wanted to order 3 New Year's Eve dinners for those who were still on duty in the factory. Huihuan told him, sorry, the reservations had already been made. Zhao Zhigang cursed, how can there be any truth in this? We can't even book our own hotel. Huihuan explained, I didn't know you wanted to make a reservation. Didn't the factory's canteen already have people arranged for it during the Spring Festival? Huihuan's place is closely connected with the factory canteen. The hotel's business is so good, and the hotel's ingredients, regardless of meat or vegetable, must be the best. There will be a lot of scraps every day, and these scraps, and it is not inedible waste. In order not to waste it, the employees in her hotel will not finish it and send it to the factory canteen, so she is very aware of the trends in the canteen. In the factory, it's the New Year's Eve dinner, but in the hotel outside, it's the New Year's Eve dinner. Don't you understand the difference? I don't care, No matter what, you have to leave 3 tables for me, Zhao Zhigang said. No matter what, I can't take out a table, Hui Huan replied. Zhao Zhigang got angry and cursed angrily, I don't care, then I'll go to the boss and ask for it. Hui Huan was also annoyed and scolded, if you go to the boss, go to the boss. Now it's all booked. Even if the boss wants to book, there's nothing I can do. Who told you not to tell me earlier? I can still let the boss order it if they withdraw, aren't they looking for the boss? Is the boss here now? I'll come over right away and I'll see if the boss is Sun Wukong and if there is a way to conjure 3 tables for you. Zhao Zhigang looked at the other side and said to Hui Huan, come here now, I will wait for you to come and then go together. I don't want to snitch on you behind your back. Okay, just wait. Hui Huan hung up the phone and ran to the factory. 2 people came to Zhang Chen's place to make trouble. Zhang Chen heard that what they said made sense. Finally, Zhang Chen came up with a solution for them. He said, isn't this an extraordinary period? In extraordinary times, use extraordinary methods to solve the problem. What can we do? Hui Huan and Zhao Zhigang both asked. How about setting up 3 tables in the hall and our people eating in the hall? Zhao Zhigang, do you have any objections? Zhang Chen said. Zhao Zhigang smiled and said, it's good to have New Year's Eve dinner, I have no objection. What about you? Zhang Chen asked Hui Huan. Hui Huan thought for a while and said, of course there is no problem in adding 3 tables to the hall. There are still spare tables and chairs in the warehouse, and the place is big enough. But this way, other guests who come to eat will feel too messy. No, Zhang Chen said, isn't it said that this is an extraordinary measure in an extraordinary period? It doesn't happen every day. People can also see that it is temporary. Many people can't find a place to eat this New Year's Eve dinner. Everyone can, I understand, and maybe those guests will be secretly happy because of this, glad that they booked early, otherwise there would be no seats. Hui Huan laughed, I haven't thought of this yet, okay, that's it. Lao Tan knew that Master Su and the others were going to Sanya together, but now they couldn't go because of overtime work, and he felt very sorry. After finishing the meal, Tan Shahen stood at the door of the hotel, pointing to a large brightly lit factory building in the distance, and told her parents that that was Zhang Chen's factory. You're so old, do you still work at night? Lao Tan asked. Zhang Chen said that he was rushing for goods and there was nothing he could do. According to the past, yesterday should be a holiday, but not this year. The holiday would have to be on the 27th of the day after tomorrow, otherwise it would be too late. Teacher Tan, do you want to go to the factory and have a look? Zhang Chen asked. Okay, let's go visit and open our eyes. As soon as Zhang Chen said it, Lao Tan responded happily. The 7 people were still the same as when they came, riding in 2 cars. Lao Tan and Mrs. Tan followed Tan Shahen, Xiao Zhao, He Hongmei and Lu Ligan took Zhang Chen's car. As soon as she got in the car, He Hongmei asked Lu Ligan in a sharp voice, Brother Ligan, do you need to play joyful music now? Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao laughed. Roll. Lu Ligan cursed, and as soon as he finished speaking, Zhang Chen cursed, coward. This was scolding Lu Ligan. Xiao Zhao and He Hongmei laughed. Lu Ligan asked Xiao Zhao, how was it when he first came to your house? Xiao Zhao, is he so arrogant? Xiao Zhao smiled and said, pretty much. My parents liked him very much as soon as they saw him. Not only did my parents like him, but my grandma also liked him. Lu Ligan was dumbfounded. How do you compare with me? Zhang Chen said proudly, also, Mayor Niu also likes me very much. I am not bragging. I am very popular in their village. They are reluctant to leave when I leave. Is it true that this guy calls himself a heartthrob? Lu Ligan asked Xiao Zhao. Xiao Zhao laughed, and she nodded and said it was true. He stayed at our house for 3 days and didn't go anywhere. He just painted portraits of dead people for free, and he had to pour the stickers himself. People said, compared to when we went to the market, the painter was good at painting, so people came to ask him to paint. When we left, there were indeed many people saying that they had no paintings left, and asked if we could stay one more day. Lu Ligan and He Hung Mei laughed, and Lu Ligan cursed, "What did I say? It turns out he is a loser." Zhang Chen smiled and said, "What do you know? This is called having one skill at your disposal and traveling all over the world. Can you do that?" He Hung Mei and Lu Ligan said, "Brother, you can do it too. As long as you promise to give you a free house, people all over the country will be reluctant to let you go. If you unfortunately leave, they will all shout, 'Lu Ligan, where are you? You come back soon.'" Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao almost felt their stomachs hurt from laughing. Lu Ligan stared at He Hung Mei for a while, and then he started laughing himself. The next day, Zhang Chen's parents invited Lao Tan and Mrs. Tan to dinner at their home, and Lu Ligan also went. This meal made new progress. Lu Ligan served Lao Tan's wine again. Although Lao Tan still remained silent, he was able to pick up the glass and clink glasses with Lu Ligan. Everyone saw this and felt relieved. After dinner, Lu Ligan and Tan Shuhen sent Lao Tan and Mrs. Tan back to the hotel. Lao Zhang looked at Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao and said, "How about it? It seems that my task has been completed ahead of schedule. I don't need to put in good words for the poll anymore." Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao smiled and nodded. They also felt that they had finally eliminated a thunderstorm before going to Sanya, and they also felt relieved. Thank you to the Evergreen Emperor Yan and the Baby Tin Soldier for the reward of 2 fishes at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you Hu Hu, Zhou Shui, Book Friends 201706220815114559, Book Friends 1606091403433806, Xiaoxian Zibao, A8su, Book Friends 2019018025224314, Book Friends 202011091113511923 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1299. On the 27th year of the year, Xiao Zhao, Tan Shuhen, and Lao Tan took the brigade and left first. When they arrived in Sanya, Cao Minfang would wait for them at the airport with the hotel bus and take them to Banmu. The Jinling resort next to Tian Hotel is the same hotel where they stayed the year before last. This year, their hotels are still full. This is partly due to the publicity from the year before last, which attracted tourists from Zhejiang province in the past. They continue to bring people with them. There are also 2 companies, Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan, which have developed VIP customers. In addition, thanks to their conference reception for more than half a year, those who went to Sanya for meetings or training courses felt that Sanya was a good place and hotel. During the Spring Festival holiday, they took their families there to celebrate the New Year. Mainland China, in most areas, it is still freezing cold at this time, and just thinking of the bright sunshine in Sanya makes people's hearts shudder. Conference reception can also bring individual visitors during the Spring Festival, which Cao Minfang did not expect. Arranging Zhang Chen and his group to the Jinling resort was the result of a phone discussion between Cao Minfang and Zhang Chen. It is very simple. Passengers in their own hotel cannot be arranged to go to other hotels. Once they go, they are likely to become other hotels. Repeat customers of the hotel, and there is no way Zhang Chen's family and friends can become repeat customers of other people's hotels. We stayed at Jinling Resort and had dinner at Banmuishan Resort Hotel. Everyone had to walk there at noon. Although it was only a little way, it was still hot enough in Sanya under the bright sun at noon. In the evening, everyone walked over as if taking a walk. The catering department of their hotel is also doing very well. If so many people come there, it will crowd out a lot of customers. CAO Minfang and Zhang Chen discussed that they might as well organize a conference room and use it as a restaurant. Anyway, at this time, the conference room is in use again. Less than. As soon as CAO Minfang said it, Zhang Chen agreed. He thought it was better than putting it in the original restaurant. There are about 4 tables among all of them. If they are placed in the lobby, the visitors will feel neglected. If they are placed in the private rooms, it will be a problem to allocate them to each other. If not done well, that private room will be very dull and a bit boring. There is no atmosphere like the New Year's Eve dinner. Now it is placed in the conference room, which is equivalent to a large box with 4 tables. Everyone is together, which is perfect. Moreover, this conference room was designed by Zhang Chen himself. He knew that the environment outside the conference room was also first class. Because their hotel specializes in conference receptions, the original conference room in the hotel was not enough. Xiao Ding helped them expand the hotel to more than 3 acres. Zhang Chen used these 3 acres to build a 2-story building. In the conference room on the first floor, 4 conference rooms, 1 large, 3 small and 4 small, have been added. Zhang Chen spent some time designing this conference room. The entire building, like the Lakeside Oil Painting Museum, is made of glass, with heat-insulating film used on the glass. However, considering that the conference room is not an art museum after all, it is often used in order not to distract. Everyone's attention needs to be a closed space. Zhang Chen installed a layer of light gray sound-absorbing panels that can be pushed and pulled inside the surrounding glass. When a closed conference room space is needed, the sound-absorbing panels are pulled up. When a bright space is needed, the sound-absorbing panels are opened. Outside the floor-to-ceiling glass, there is the garden of their hotel and the blue sea not far away. The scenery is pleasant. What else can be said about temporarily converting such a conference room into a restaurant? Zhang Chen can only say yes. Meng Ping, Qianfang, and others also arrived on the same day as Xiao Zhao and others. He Hongmei will not go back to Chongqing to celebrate the New Year this year. She also went to Sanya, planning to go directly from Sanya to Beijing with Xiao Zhao after the New Year. Xiao Zhao and the others left, but Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan did not leave. Zhang Chen did not start his holiday until the 27th of the year because he was a worker in the factory. Those who could reach the province by car on the same day, like Zhao's Hegang and Zhao's Hailong, would have to wait longer. One day, I won't leave until the 28th of the New Year, which is the day before New Year's Eve. Zhang Chen has to stay in the factory until all the workers are gone before he can leave. During the Spring Festival, it is also a troubled day. Zhang Chen is very worried that any emergencies will happen. He needs to handle it by himself, so he should be careful. Wonderful. As for Lu Ligan, there were too many places where he needed to say New Year greetings and treat each other to dinner. Otherwise, it would be too late when they came back from Sanya. It was always better to say New Year greetings sooner rather than later, otherwise it would be too late to go to work. Before starting work, some people would think that Lu Ligan had forgotten about him. His grandma would hum this guy up at work. Especially for those who have just retired from their posts, if you arrive late, people will think you are a snobbery and a person who has just left the job. Zhang Chen didn't have to worry about treating guests and giving gifts. First, in a company like theirs, they rarely asked relevant departments. Their relationship with them was not to the point where they needed to treat them to dinner. At most, they could just smoke and drink, and chat. To show respect, this kind of thing has been done by Zhao's Hegang since they were at Sanbeo, but Zhang Chen never did it. Zhang Chen, Lu Ligan, and Lu Ligan's parents had to wait until the 28th of the New Year, when Lu Ligan had invited the last batch of guests, and they left around 9 o'clock in the evening. They took Lao Ni's plane. Lao Ni took Sisi, whom they had never met before, to go with them. When they arrived in Sanya, they should be able to have midnight snacks. Everything was arranged, those who should go left, and those who should stay stayed. When Lu Ligan was running around outside during the day, Jiang Chen was alone at home or upstairs in the dynamic zone. He might as well go to the factory to stay with. When Jiang Chen arrived at the factory, he did not stay in the office. Instead, he went to the living area at the back. He saw factory trucks, Ivcos, Jinbei trucks, and bullet trucks loaded with workers, ready to take them to the station. When he arrived, Jiang Chen walked over, waved goodbye to the workers on the bus, and told them to pay attention to safety along the way and to keep their money safe. He didn't count how many cars he had sent away in total. Jiang Chen just sent away like this for a whole day. On the evening of the 27th of the new year, he walked into the employee canteen and saw that there were only 300 to 400 people left in the bustling restaurant. 1/3 of these 300 to 400 people are natives of Hangzhou and were former workers of the old Kuning garment factory. These 300 to 400 people will continue to work in the workshop after dinner, and they will work a little later than usual. They will work until early in the morning. Those from other places will go back to the dormitory, sleep for 2 or 3 hours, and then go to the bus station. Get on the bus and continue to sleep, while local factory buses will take them back to the city. At that time, even the morning buses began to clang and crawl throughout the city. After dinner, Jiang Chen thought about it and thought that he would be alone when he went back. He simply decided not to go back and just accompanied the workers to finish the last shift of the year. When he felt sleepy, he would pass out on the sofa in the office. Unexpectedly, at about 10 o'clock, Lu Ligan was probably alone. He couldn't bear the loneliness upstairs in the dynamic zone and ran here to see Jiang Chen for a night of old wine. The two of them were too lazy to go to the Tuxianjiayuan hotel, so they called the old man to help them prepare some dishes and deliver them to the office. The two of them ate in the office. Zhao Zhigang saw them and ran over to join in the fun. The three of them ate until after 1 o'clock, but Lu Li couldn't hold it anymore. He said that he had been driving for a day today and was exhausted, and he would drive for another day tomorrow. "Don't disturb me," Lu Ligan said to Jiang Chen, leaned over, fell on the sofa and fell asleep. Zhao Zhigang looked at Lu Ligan and smiled, "For such a big boss, what's the use of making so much money? In the end, he is so busy that he doesn't even have a bed to sleep on." Jiang Chen looked at him and cursed, "Are you talking about him or me? I was going to sleep on the sofa tonight, but now he has even taken away the sofa. I am even more pitiful than him." Zhao Zhigang smiled and said, "Okay, I'll give you my bed to sleep on." "Give me your bed to sleep on," Jiang Chen asked, "and let Kaidi lie next to me." Zhao Zhigang laughed, "Then you will be in trouble, the boss lady will skin you." Jiang Chen and Zhao Zhigang went to the workshop together. After 4 o'clock, the workers also got off work. Jiang Chen returned to his office and saw Lu Ligan lying face down on the couch, sleeping. Just in time, Jiang Chen sat down on the single sofa next to him and closed his eyes, but felt uncomfortable all over. He opened his eyes and looked around, remembering Meng Ping that night. He stood up, took out a stack of books from the cabinet, walked to the conference table, climbed up, used the book as a pillow, fell down, and closed it. Eyes. When Jiang Chen woke up, he looked at his watch. It was already past 7 in the morning. He quickly climbed down from the conference table and saw that Lu Ligan was still sleeping soundly. He walked to the bathroom. After washing, he walked out and went to the back living area. There is already a car ready to go. At around 10 o'clock, after Zhao Zhigang and Zhao Zhilong, the last group, drove away, the entire factory came to a complete stop and began to enter a short hibernation. In the huge factory area, except for dozens of workers who did not go home and stayed behind, personnel, there is no one else. Jiang Chen looked at it. He didn't know why, but he suddenly felt a little sad. It was like after a feast, just like when he was in the theater troupe before. When they were dismantling the scenery on the stage, Zhang Chen looked at the empty audience below. 11. He often feels this sad. After a play is finished, when teacher Sue's drum beats again, a new play starts from the beginning. Zhang Chen took out 2 cigarettes from the trunk and walked into the employee canteen. Old Fu was still there. He was a left-behind staff member in the canteen. He was also the person in charge of the entire factory during this period. Zhang Chen handed him the cigarettes. He told him, "Master Fu, I'm going to leave it to you these days." The old master quickly said, "It should be done, Mr. Zhang, you don't have to be so polite." Zhang Chen returned to the office. Lu Ligan had already left. Zhang Chen felt very sleepy. He went downstairs and got into his car. He wanted to go home and have a good sleep. How he longed to wait until he woke up. He was already on the plane flying to Sanya. But he knew that was impossible. He had to pick up Lao Lu and Lu Ligan's mother to the airport in the evening. In order to rush for time, Lu Ligan went directly to the airport from the Zhongshenji hotel where he had dinner, while Lao Ni and Sisi did not. "I know which corner of the city I will drive from. Thank you book friend 2017101814574872 for the reward. Thank you Joe Shui, Lulu 6717P11, and book friend 201909090759299245 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1300. When Zhang Chen and the others arrived in Sanya, it was already past midnight. The second-rate guy drove a minibus from the Ban Mu Tian Resort Hotel and was waiting for them at the airport. Meng Ping, Xiao Zhao, and Qian Fang followed them. When they arrived at the lobby of Jinling Resort, when checking in, Qian Fang gave them 2 sets of island uniforms for each person from the front desk. Zhang Chen remembered that the last time he came to Sanya, everyone's island uniforms were Qian Fang's. "I bought it," Zhang Chen said with a smile. "Qian Fang, do you have a soft spot for the island server?" Qian Fang said yes. "I told Xiao Zhao yesterday that I was going to come to you and order 20,000 units. I would not sell villas in Nanjing. I would go to Sanya specifically to sell island clothes, and I would go to your hotel to sell them. I will be here every day. It's so pleasant to swim in the sea and eat seafood." Zhang Chen laughed and said, "If you make a living from this, you will be sad every day and won't have so many romantic thoughts." Qian Fang looked at Zhang Chen, then at Xiao Zhao, and said, "We are really not a family. If we don't enter the same house, why do you two husband and wife have such a discussion? It seems to be a blow to me." Yesterday, Xiao Zhao also told me this talk. Of course, Zhang Chen said, "We have sold clothes and know the hardships involved. We stay in the stall and as long as a customer comes in, we want to hold her back and prevent her from leaving. In order to sell a piece of clothes, I have been saying everything to her alone for a month. I am really flattering in every possible way and as patient as I am to my own girlfriend. Oh, what a loss. If I had known this, I would have gone to your store every day and listened to you flattering me," Qian Fang shouted, and everyone laughed. Xiao Zhao said, "What's even more annoying is that some girls from the bank in front of the market came to buy clothes. When they got to the store, they saw that he was not there and I was there, so they turned around and left." Sisi, who came with Lao Ni, asked, "Are you jealous?" "No, I just wanted to sell clothes. I wouldn't be jealous. It's just a pity that they didn't buy clothes. If they knew how to buy clothes, I would be willing to take him in and sell them together," Xiao Zhao said, and everyone laughed. Xiao Zhao said, really, if you look at the clothes that no one wants piled up in the store every day, you will want to pick them up one by one and beat them up, especially when the weather is about to get colder, and you still have a lot of summer clothes. The anxiety you feel is really indescribable. Lao Ni said, it's true, it was the same when I was selling fabrics in the textile city in the early years. I saw the fabrics piled up in the store, and people were walking around at the door, but they just refused to come in. Occasionally, one would come in, and it would be very difficult for them. I'm more flattering than my own father, and I'm still quarreling with my family here. As soon as the phone on the table rings, and I hear it's from a client, I immediately start laughing. Okay, you have successfully crushed my dream of selling island servers and eating seafood, Jianfang said. You can continue to keep your dream, but you can't eat seafood when selling island clothes, and you can't eat typhoon, Lu Ligan said. Everyone took the key cards and prepared to go to their rooms. Lao Ni said that he was hungry and went back to the room to put things away for a midnight snack. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan both agreed. Jianfang shouted, we girls, young and old, have all eaten. Lao Meng and the others are still waiting for you to come and eat. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao returned to their rooms. Zhang Chen asked, why did you eat first? Xiao Zhao said casually, and Sister Chu said it was not very convenient for Mr. Ni to come. Zhang Chen understood that Chu Tianlin knew that Lao Ni came with Sisi and was unwilling to meet him. Lao Ni's romantic affair has been widely circulated on the internet and in society for a long time, and it has become semi-public. Of course Chu Tianlin and Xiao Zhao also knew about it, but they didn't say it or ask. There are so many old people and children here. I don't know about Lao Ni yet, but if I ask, it's really inconvenient to answer. Zhang Chen had thought about this issue when Lao Ni said he was coming that day, but Lao Ni spoke up in person. Neither Chu Tianlin nor Zhang Chen and Lu Laogan could refuse in person. From far to near, the noisy voices of several people could be heard outside the door. Then the door was knocked twice, and Lu Ligan shouted, let's go, let's get intimate again when we come back. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao said, I'm leaving then. Xiao Zhao nodded yeah, she pushed him with her hand and said to him, you go ahead, I'll go to Hung Mei and Xiaofang's room. They are still playing cards. Hung Mei, Su Jiaking, and Wei Venfang all lost. Xiaofang lost completely. Zhang Chen laughed and said, this card game relies on card counting. If they ask Xiaofang to play, they are not asking for death. They have forgotten that Xiaofang is someone who can make money without losing money in the casino. Xiao Zhao chuckled, it's nothing, just for fun. The two people arrived outside the door and saw a bunch of people standing in the corridor at the door, all of them men, including Meng Ping, Lu Ligan, Li Yang, Wu Ziyawai, Huo, and Chu Tianjian. Where's Brother Tan? Zhang Chen asked. I went to the base and haven't come back yet. I was forced to raise my child. At this time, I must be yelling send off my comrades somewhere, the second-hand guy said. Everyone went downstairs and saw Lao Ni and Sisi already sitting in the lobby waiting for them. Their room was on the first floor. What was surprising was that Lao Lu was also sitting here wearing a Flower Island suit. Lu Ligan was surprised. Deo, what are you doing? Old Lu chuckled, don't you want to have a midnight snack? Zhang Chen and Meng Ping laughed and said quickly, yes, yes, let's go together, let's go together. Lu Ligan thought about it and shook his head helplessly. Since he had to take a plane tonight, Lu Ligan was worried that Lao Lu would be drunk and something might happen to him on the plane. When he went out in the morning, he told his mother that no matter what happened today, how about, you can't let the old man drink. Old Lu had been tightly guarded by Liu's mother for a day, and he must have been suffocating. If he didn't drink some wine at this time, he might not even be able to sleep well. Still driving second-rate, everyone went to the Chunyuan seafood food stall. As soon as we sat down, before the food was on the table, Lao Lu had already grabbed a bottle of big aphrodisiac and started drinking by himself. Lu Ligan came back from the bathroom and found that half the bottle of wine was missing. Lu Ligan quickly shouted, "The old man, don't drink it even if your nose bleeds." He asked everyone present who ordered this for him. Everyone laughed but said nothing. "It tastes good, it tastes good. This wine is good and delicious. It tastes a bit like Wajiapi." Lao Lu is still sober now. Lu Ligan went to take the wine from his hand. How could Lao Lu give it to him? Lu Ligan said, "Exchange, exchange, old man, exchange for beer." "No, that's not satisfying. It's also bloating." Old Lu held the bottle to his chest and protected it tightly with one hand. "It's okay, it's okay. He's a forced child. After eating, I'll just take him to the sauna," Huo said. Lu Ligan glared at the idiot and cursed, "You ordered it, right?" People at the table laughed, and the second-rate guy said, "If you don't drink this aphrodisiac wine when you get to Hainan, then what else will you drink?" "I didn't see Mr. Ni drinking this." Lu Ligan scolded, "Old Ni, in the second half, he has to mount a gun and lead 1,000,000 soldiers on the battlefield. How can this be compared?" Lao Ni chuckled, but Sisi's face turned red. Just as they were bickering, Lao Lu hurriedly drank a bottle of wine, and then he felt a little happy. He leaned back in the red plastic armchair, his eyes a little straight, and a large plate the boiled shrimps were brought up. Zhang Chen used a spoon to put a dozen shrimps into the bone plate in front of Old Lu. Old Lu peeled the shrimps and smiled happily. They drank the same old wine until about 3 o'clock. At about 9 o'clock the next day, Zhang Chen woke up and found that Xiao Zhao was no longer there. He sat on the bed, smoked a cigarette, and then got out of bed to wash up. Zhang Chen walked to the corridor outside and felt a little strange. It was quiet in the corridor. Their rooms were on this floor. There were no other people. How could it be so quiet? Only from around the corner could he hear the waiter vacuuming the carpet. Buzzing sound. Zhang Chen walked to He Hungmei and Xiaofang's room across the street and knocked on the door, but no one answered. Then he walked to Xiaoshu and Zhang Xiangbei's room and knocked on the door, but there was still no one. He then knocked on the door of Lu Li next to him. He knocked on the door and yelled, "Ward round, round round, open the door quickly." Lu Ligan yelled, "Get out." The first room around the corner belonged to Tan Shuhen and Xiang Nan. Zhang Chen knocked on the door, but there was still no one. Next door was the room where Chu Tianlin and his son lived. The sound of the vacuum cleaner came from the open door. Zhang Chen walked over. When the waiter saw him, he stretched out his foot and stepped on the cord of the vacuum cleaner on the carpet. He rubbed it back and the plug was pulled out from the wall socket. The vacuum cleaner stopped. Zhang Chen saw, unable to help but laugh. He said, "It's amazing, it can still be done like this." The waiter also laughed, and Zhang Chen asked her, "Where have the people in this room and other rooms gone?" The waiter shook his head and said, "I don't know. More than half an hour ago, a large group of people went downstairs together." Zhang Chen waved his hand and said, "Okay, continue." He exited the room, went downstairs, and saw Urkuo and Xiajun sitting there in the hall. Their son was rolling alone on the marble floor in front of them, calling for coolness, "Coolness, it's cool here, 2 people." Laughing out loud. Lao Lu was sitting on the sofa next to him, holding a cup in one hand and wine in the other, pouring himself a glass of wine. Zhang Chen walked over and sat down. Zhang Chen asked Huo, "Where is your aunt?" "They all followed my uncle Tan to visit the Banmushan Hotel. My aunt also said that they wanted to see how the New Year's Eve dinner was being prepared." "Then why didn't you go?" "What's there to see? I used to stay in that place and I got prickly heat." Zhang Chen asked Lao Lu, "Uncle, why didn't you go with them?" Lao Lu looked outside and said, "Don't go. The weather in Sanya is so bad. The sun is too poisonous. It's better to sit here." The second-rate guy came closer and told Zhang Chen that he didn't want to go. As he said before, he felt angry when he saw Mr. Tan's parents here. Zhang Chen smiled. Zhang Chen sat there for more than half an hour. Xiao Zhao and the others had not come back yet, but Meng Ping, Li Yang, and Su Jiaking came down from upstairs. After a while, Lu Ligan also came down. Lao Ni followed Ceci out of the corridor on the first floor. Ceci was holding a hotel umbrella in her hand. Lao Ni called to Zhang Chen and the others, "I'll take Ceci to see your hotel." The two people didn't turn this way, and walked straight out of the door. With a bang, Ceci opened the umbrella in her hand, and the two people's heads disappeared into the umbrella. Meng Ping looked at their disappearing figures, turned around and asked Lu Ligan, "Gangzi, how many houses has this old Ni bought from you?" "More than one," hand Lu Ligan said. Li Yang asked, "Why didn't he buy one?" "It's not enough." Lao Ni said that his ideal is to build a family home, Lu Ligan said. Everyone burst out laughing, and Su Jiaking cursed, "Old gangster." After she finished scolding, she saw Lao Lu turning his head to look at her and said quickly, "Uncle, I'm not scolding you, you are like this, drinking every day is fine." "Very good. Then I'll send it to your home," Lu Ligan scolded. "Thank you for the reward of 2 fishes at around 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you for your monthly votes for Kankanshan Shui, Abasu, The Fish-Eating Brother, Fantasy in the Wind, Chien Chien Dad, and Book Friends 201706220815114559. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1301. Xiao Zhao and his team came back, but Lao Zhang and Xiao Zhao's father were missing. Zhang Chen was surprised and asked Xiao Zhao, where had the 2 land reclamation warriors gone? Xiao Zhao smiled and said, they were still in the nursery opposite and refused to come back. They became excited when they saw this. Your father said that when Bai Bei and the others go to high school and live on campus, he and my father will go there. They come here to plant flowers and trees, and they say that such a large piece of land is a pleasure to work with. Everyone laughed, and Lu Ligan said, well, if these 2 emperors get here, how can Cao Minfang survive? By the way, Zhang Chen, you can set up a nursery in Hangzhou and let 2 old comrades do it, Lu Ligan said, just build it on the roof of your factory, you don't even need to find land, and it also keeps people warm and cool, which is a green project. When Zhang Chen heard this, he jumped up in fright and cursed. Damn it, don't mention this in front of them. If the old comrade really wants this request, I won't be annoyed to death. Again, this kind of thing is not serious, just for fun. If you really want it, when it comes to getting down to business, I'll have to assign a lot of people to them. Zhang Chen laughed as he spoke, and said, it's okay. You can underwrite the vegetables they grow now, or in the future, you can underwrite all the flowers and trees they grow. Do you agree? If you agree, we can go back and do it. This is okay, He Hung Mei shouted from the side. Lu Li pointed towards them and rolled his eyes. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Lao Lu shouted that he was going to have New Year's Eve dinner. Lu Ligan was so annoyed by him that he and the second guy drove him there. When Lao Lu arrived at the conference room, he changed it to restaurant, he shouted, pointing to the sea outside the glass, and said to Lu Ligan, I have never had a drink in such a beautiful place in my life. After hearing this, Lu Ligan felt that he was verbose, but also felt a little sad. Yes, he had never taken them to any decent place in their lives. Cao Minfang brought Lao Lu wine and a few braised vegetables. At the same time, she handed the recipe to Lu Ligan and said to him, Mr. Lu, what dish should you order first? Okay, that's all, Lu Ligan said, he actually doesn't care about the food, as long as he has wine. Cao Minfang smiled and understood. This was a wine master. She told Lu Ligan that it was still early, so you can go and do your work. I will arrange a waiter to serve here. Lu Ligan quickly said, no, 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 you are all very busy. Don't worry about him. Just let him sit here alone. If he falls asleep, don't worry about him. He will wake up after a nap. There are still more than 2 hours between now and the New Year's Eve dinner. Lu Ligan knew that he would definitely drink himself to death and drink again after waking up. Cao Minfang said, okay, then I will ask the waiter to come over every 10 minutes to see if the old gentleman needs anything. Lu Ligan said thank you and told the waiter that if he fell asleep, let him sleep without waking him up. The three of them walked to the door. Lu Ligan looked back. In the huge restaurant, only Lao Lu was sitting there alone. After getting up in the morning and drinking for most of the day, he was already a little slumped there. It was superfluous. There were more movements, and a man was sitting there, muttering to himself, and gesticulating with his hands. Lu Ligan didn't know whether his thoughts at this time had returned to his hometown in northern Jiangsu, but the lush garden in his background and the blue sea not far away were really beautiful. Lu Ligan shook his head. At around 6 o'clock, when the large group of people passed by Jinling Resort, Lao Lu was already leaning on his chair and fell asleep. Everyone was naturally divided into several tables. All the children, Yuan, Chu Tianlin's son, Xiang Nan, Xiang Bei, and Erkuo's son were sitting at the same table. Zhang Chen, Xiao Zhao's mother, and Lu Ligan's mother were accompanying them. All the other old people formed a table with Lao Lu. They were Lao Zhang, Teacher Tan, and his wife, Chu Tianlin's parents, Wei Wenfang's parents, and Wu Zhaowai's parents, exactly 10 of them. Zhang Chen sat at a table with Meng Ping, Lu Ligan, Lao Tan, Li Yang, Chu Tianjian, Xiaoshu, Erhuo, Wu Zhaowai, and Lao Ni. Sisi originally wanted to sit here with Lao Ni, but Lao Ni probably realized that there were so many old people and children here, and his relationship with Sisi made them look bad, so he asked Sisi to sit at Xiao Zhao's table. When Chu Tianlin's parents saw Lao Ni earlier, they came over to express their gratitude to him and told Lao Ni that your daughter was so beautiful. Lao Ni could only deal with it vaguely. The reason why Chu Tianlin's parents wanted to thank Lao Ni was for his project to support poor college students. A student they taught before, whose family conditions were very poor, was able to go to college because of this project. 2 retired teachers represented their students came specially to thank Lao Ni. Erhuo, Wu Zhaowai, Meng Ping, and the other men ran out as usual and set off a burst of fireworks and firecrackers on the lawn outside. When they came back, the New Year's Eve dinner officially began. With so many people eating together, the atmosphere in the conference room quickly became lively. In the middle, Cao Minfang came over to toast, setting off a wave of climax. Fatty Fu then came over to toast, setting off another wave of climax. Everyone told Fatty Fu that this place the food is so delicious. Zhang Chen knew that a few elderly people were particularly concerned about this. When Fatty Fu came to their table, he walked over and introduced to them that Master Fu used to cook for MZX and Premier Zhou at the Rongyuan Hotel in Changsha. When the old people heard this, they really had a deeper respect for Fatty Fu. Chu Tianlin's father said, no wonder it was so delicious. It turned out that the chef was the one in charge. Zhang Chen introduced Teacher Tan to Fatty Fu and told him that Teacher Tan had performed for Premier Zhou and foreign guests many times, and Premier Zhou even took photos with him. When Fatty Fu heard this, he quickly held Teacher Tan's hand and shook it. It's in the past, it's in the past, these are all things in the past, Teacher Tan said humbly with a smile. Me, old Lu woke up at some point. He raised his hands and shouted, I have shaken these hands with the Prime Minister. Zhang Chen's heart skipped a beat. He looked at old Lu, indicating that he was trying to compete with Teacher Tan. Zhang Chen quickly interrupted and asked old Lu, Uncle, when did you meet the Prime Minister? On the construction site, when the Xiananjiang hydropower station was being built, I was the youngest member of the youth commando team. The Prime Minister came to see us and when he saw me, he made sure to shake my hand. I thought my hands were too dirty and I didn't dare hold on. Guess what the Prime Minister said? Lao Lu asked. What did you say? Zhang Chen asked. He said, kid, working hands are the cleanest, Lao Lu said and waved his right hand. He just took my hand. Of course I quickly held his hand with both hands. Several old people present all nodded. Chu Tianlin's father said, working hands are the cleanest. This is so good and a great wisdom. The New Year's Eve dinner continued into the second half, and everyone began to toast each other. Chu Tianlin's father stood up, walked to Lao Lu with a cup, and said to him, Master Lu, come here, let me toast you. Old Lu said yes, but he wanted to stand up, but it was already a bit difficult. Chu Tianlin's father quickly held him down and told him, sit down, Master Lu, just sit down. The two clinked their glasses and both drank. Then, Wei Wenfang's father and Wu Ziyawai's father also stood up and toasted to Lao Lu. Look, Pole, look. Zhang Chen called Lu Ligan in a low voice and motioned to Lao Liu's table. Lu Ligan looked over and was happy. They saw that teacher Lao Tan Tan also stood up. He was serious about it first. He took the wine bottle, filled up his cup, then walked towards Lao Lu with the cup in hand. Haha, that's really strange. Zhang Chen saw that Tan Shahen and Xiao Zhao also noticed it. Like them, they stopped eating and drinking and looked at Teacher Tan. Teacher Tan walked up to old Lu and said to him, Master Lu, I also want to toast you. Old Lu looked up at him and snorted, I know how to drink other people's wine. If you respect me, I won't drink it. As soon as Lao Lu said this, the entire conference room fell silent, and everyone looked at them. Teacher Tan was stunned for a moment, but still had a smile on his face. He asked, what's the reason for this? Lao Lu raised his cloudy eyes, looked at Lao Tan and asked, what are you doing here? Haven't you always looked down on the pole? Then continue to look down on it. What are you doing here? Lao Tan's face instantly turned livid. Lao Lu, you drank too much, what are you talking about? Lao Zhang shouted. I'm not talking nonsense, old Lu continued to shout, is it because the pole is rich now, and you are satisfied with it? Lu Li stood up suddenly, his face turned pale. Lao Tan stood there without saying a word. He picked up the cup, drank the wine in one gulp, placed the cup on the table in front of Lao Lu, turned around and walked out. Zhang Chen sat there, lamenting in his heart, it's over, he took every precaution to guard against Lao Tan, but he didn't expect that in the end, Lao Lu, an alcoholic, would be the one who shocked him. The people in the conference room were all dumbfounded. You looked at me and I looked at you. They didn't know what to do. There were many of them, and they didn't even know the origins of them. They were even more confused. They just felt that how could two old men get into a fight? Xiang Nan didn't know when she walked up to old Lu. She pointed her finger at old Lu and cursed, you old drunkard. Nanan, shut up. Tan Shahen yelled as she hurriedly walked over, grabbed Xiang Nan, and Xiang Nan shook her hand off, took a step forward, continued to point at Lao Lu, and shouted. You are a bad person, why did you bully my grandpa? With a pop, Tan Shahen waved her hand and gave Xiang Nan a slap. Xiang Nan cried loudly, turned around and ran out. Xiao Zhao and Xiao Fang quickly chased after him, followed by He Hongmei, Mrs. Tan, and Zhang Chenhe and Xia Zhao's mother also chased him out. Tan Shahen stood there in a daze, her face turned pale. She looked at her right hand and felt a little pain. This was the first time she had hit Xiang Nan for such a long time. A tear rolled down from Tan Shahen's eyes. Thank you Zhou Shui, Big Eyed Dragonfly and 1997 Orange for your monthly passes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone.